Here we go now.
Hey y'all, what is going on? How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? Let me know if you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I am still not in the studio. We're getting the studio together. As you know, I recently moved, so I'm still putting out the content. So make sure that you guys are following and subscribed. It is a subscribers only live chat. What's going on? Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. I hear we look even better and sound even better on Twitch. So make sure you follow me, TheKempire, on Twitch. We're also live on Facebook, TheKempire on Facebook. We're live on X. What's going on, X? I had to get some of y'all together over there on X. X is a whole other place. Okay, thank you, Tish. She says we can hear and see you. Thank you so much. Y'all, if you were following me during my Mexico City trip, you know where I got these. You know the story behind them. Join the Patreon, because even if you missed our Mexico City trip, I've left the newsletter links there so you can actually get some quick tips and tricks and all that good stuff from my Mexico City birthday trip, which I am overdue for another trip. Overdue. You know, we had a whole conversation the other day about working a 9-to-5. I don't work a 9-to-5 anymore. I can work from anywhere. Okay, literally. So I need to book a trip expeditiously. But I've been dealing with a lot. But we will figure it out. Soon enough. I'll be a whole nother background. You're like, where are we now? Okay. Stay tuned, guys. Be sure to like today's video if you haven't already. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. This is part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17 reunion, and we are talking all about it. Last night on Patreon, we watched it and talked about it then. I had a lot to say. So if you're not following me on Patreon, scan the QR code and follow me on Patreon. Where's my QR code? Follow me on Patreon today. If you're not already, I will probably go live there maybe later today if I have some time to discuss Ultimate Girls Trip and maybe watch it together. Maybe. We'll see. I already started watching it. I'm like, the first episode was a snooze fest. We did talk and recap it last week for our mini Tuesday takeover. I talked about Real Housewives of London as well. But we talked a little bit about that premiere episode. The premiere episode really wasn't giving much of anything. But I'm gonna ride it out because it's not a long season. It's not like 20 episodes. I believe it'll probably be at the most 10 episodes. So we'll talk about it maybe mañana, maybe. Look, maybe. All right. Okay, first of all, before we get into anything, guys, be sure to let me know where you're watching from. I am streaming live from New York City, so I know some of you may have not been around, so you're probably like, where's this new background? Why do you have shades on? Mind your business. How about that? Mind your business. No, I'm in my new home. I'm in my new home. Okay. Be sure to let me know where you're watching from. I see Brooklyn's in the house. Deezer Stallion says Ultimate Girls Trip is a big snooze fest. I haven't watched the second episode yet. Jamaris is watching from Atlanta. Buffalo, New York is in the building. New Jersey, Ohio. Chuck says a show with Vicky, Giselle, and Lisa can't expect it to give. Well, apparently the higher ups thought that it would. Okay. Arizona's in the building. Dallas is in the building. Atlanta's in the building. What's going on? York, Pennsylvania's in the building. What's going on, Linda? Rashawn's watching from Atlanta. We've got a lot of people in Atlanta in the building. What's going on, Atlanta? Louisville, Kentucky's in the building. Okay. Don John says, I love all the ladies. Okay. We'll see what the ratings say. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania's in the building. Got a lot of people in Pennsylvania as well. Omaha, Nebraska, what's going on? Tampa, Florida, New Rochelle. I haven't been to New Rochelle in a long time. Baltimore, having big fun in Baltimore is in the building. Los Angeles is in the building. Is it Riley? Riley, North Carolina? I know I got that wrong. Macon, Georgia's in the building. Portugal, what's going on, Portugal? I was just thinking about Portugal. I have literally in front of me the tiles that I got from Portugal. And it accidentally dropped. It didn't break completely, but behind it broke a little bit. So I might have to make a trip to Portugal just to get me a new one. I really don't need a new one, but I like tiles. I like collecting tiles during my travels. All right. Durham, North Carolina is in the building. Indianapolis is in the building. Toronto's in the building. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know where you're watching from as well. Also, let me know how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta's Reunion Part 2. We were watching this together last night on Patreon, and I said Part 2 definitely was a lot better than Part 1. But rewatching Part 2, I am so frustrated because, and part of my frustration might be because I am also trying to take notes. So trying to take notes when so many people are going back and forth and they're going from one topic to another topic and it's like it's all over the place, or it's a nonsensical issue that doesn't make sense and they've been arguing about it the entire season. And I know this is Housewives. This is what happens. However, the issues between Angela and Shamia, I wrote notes on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to even go through the notes because I'm already annoyed with it. I'm annoyed with both of them. I don't believe they have a real issue. And even with Angela trying to explain said issue, I'm not saying that she's completely wrong. I'm not saying that Shamia is completely wrong either or innocent. However, even when Angela was asked to apologize, she wasn't even able to apologize. Angela, you have been a great housewife, but you need to start taking accountability. I know that's hard for some of us Tauruses because we always believe that we're right, because that's what we're seeing, a Taurus on Taurus fight. Both of them are stubborn. Both of them are going to be like, I am 100% right. However, Angela, I don't think you're 100% right. I think you're playing semantics. I'm not saying that Shamia didn't have things to say about Charles. I'm not saying that Shamia is innocent, but I also feel like you weren't taking accountability. You couldn't apologize. And I don't really understand what the real issue between you and Shamia is, even after Part 2 of the reunion. What is the real issue between the two of you? That's worth us constantly going back and forth on it. This reunion is not landing well for you, Angela. I love your little clapbacks. I think you are a fantastic addition, but you also need to learn how to let it go and take some accountability if you want to be a really good housewife. And I don't see any accountability. Lexi says she apologized. Exactly. Just apologize properly. Because she eventually got there. Even Andy had to walk Angela through on how to apologize because she was like, I can apologize for this. I mean, look, people are going to say, well, she apologized for a typical housewife. No accountability. Ariel says barely. That apology was weak at best. I think if she was able to really apologize to Shamia, I could have been like, okay, now we can move on. I don't know. That portion of the reunion between Angela and Shamia was disappointing. More on the Angela side. Because even when they go back to what stemmed Angela constantly coming for Shamia, and I'm jumping all the way to this end because when we get to it, I don't think I won't even want to dig into it anymore. But Angela says the reason why she kept on coming for Shamia was because of a comment that she made. I think it was that Slutty Vegan when she was with Pinky and Shamia. Pinky barely remembered it. And I guess Shamia again was basically saying that Drew and Angela were the demise of the friendship between her and Porsha. I don't agree with that. However, you saying that is why you kept on coming for Shamia was a weak reason to say that's the reason why you kept on coming for Shamia. I really thought maybe at this reunion, I could have been like this. Oh, now I completely understand why Angela keeps coming for Shamia. And I get it. The fans will find every reason. But here's the thing, y'all. We're watching an edited show. We will never, as an audience, understand what really is going on between these women. only based on what we've seen on the show or what they want to share with us. And I always tell you, a lot of times what they're arguing about has nothing to do with what they're actually arguing about. And a lot of times it has to do with the show. I don't know what it is, but y'all need to wrap it up. Wrap it up, because I don't want, if y'all bring this beef into next season, it's not even fun to watch. It's not even fun to watch. It's just annoying at this point. It's annoying. At least when Angela and Pinky fought, you saw how they were able to resolve their issues, but they had like that all-out battle. That was fun to watch. And now they're cool. T says, I'm confused. We're all confused. It's confusion to the point of annoyance, because we can't get to the bottom of what the real issue might be. We did get to the bottom of what the issue might be between Phaedra and Pinky, and apparently involved, not HR, everyone in the comments were like, oh my, because I had posted a very facetious tweet, y'all. If I'm tweeting facetiously. I said, the nerve of Phaedra to be going to HR on Pinky when her picture might be up in HR. First of all, Phaedra never went to HR. She probably went to production, because if she went to HR, she would have contacted New York. It's the HR department. And Andy already revealed she didn't reach out to me. She didn't reach out to anyone in New York. So I facetiously tweeted, and people like, weren't you in HR? It involved a pow, pow, pow. Y'all saying she can't go to HR. Y'all need to go touch some grass. Go touch a plant. Go hug a tree. Y'all can't read between the lines. I'm being facetious. I'm not saying that she can't go to HR. Y'all don't understand the joke? Ha ha. Ha ha. Lord. This is why people end up not wanting to be on social media or tweet, because y'all take everything that someone says facetiously about a show of entertainment as you're so biased. It's a show, an edited one at that, of entertainment. My review is not reporting on the news. My review is what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, what I thought about this particular situation. So if I'm biased, it's because I'm supposed to be. It's a review. People are here to hear my opinion, not the news. When we are talking about the news, we will conduct ourselves that way. But even if I am talking about the news here, this is still an opinion channel. This ain't CNN. I am not claiming to be a journalist. I am not Don Lemon. You can go to Don Lemon's channel and you can get journalism. Okay? Wave Key says, let them know, Greg. It's Monday morning. Look, it's Monday, well, Monday afternoon at this particular point. So the whole idea of anyone, any content creator on any side of a conversation, when you guys are saying that they're biased, please understand I'm looking at you like you're ignorant, because then you don't understand what a recap and review is versus of a show versus what real journalism is. Please understand, when you say someone's biased, I'm looking at you like you don't understand English. I'm looking at you like you're dumb. We said it. Look, we said it, because that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Clearly, people are going to be biased when they're reviewing a show. Period. All right. All right. Moving on. Moving on. All right. Lisa says, let's get it cracking, Kim. I just wanted to start off with that. Before we get into our review, no one made me mad, but it's just something that it's a compounding thing that we see all the time. And I'm sure other content creators can relate. And I'm just saying, this is where I find it to be stupid for people to be like, oh, you're so biased. Da, 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 da. People have been saying that since the beginning of my channel. I'm just reiterating, you can't say someone's biased when you're talking about a review of a show. They're clearly going to be biased because they're talking about what they like and they don't like. They're not reporting on the facts of the situation. Again, you can't report on facts of a situation when you're watching an edited show. But anyway, I've digressed. I've digressed. I was wearing green so I can look. Ruth Ann says Kempire is coming in hot. I didn't even expect it. You never know what I'm going to discuss before we even get into, the actual review. But before we get into the review, literally last night after I got off our Patreon, I saw the incredibly sad news about Hayden Panettiere. And this is someone I watched on Heroes. This is someone I watched on Nashville. Nashville was such a fantastic show. Heroes was a fantastic show. And She recently released a book back in May, and she was on the promo trail promoting it and talking about just the highs and lows of being in entertainment. So the news came out last night that she had passed away. She was only 36 years old. I just saw that we are getting more details from People Magazine in regards to what exactly happened to Hayden. So according to People Magazine, they report this. They said new details have been revealed about the last moments of Hayden Panettiere's life. Police officers and EMS personnel responded to reports of an unresponsive female, later identified as 36-year-old Hayden Panettiere, at a residence in Greenville, South Carolina, at around 1:51 p.m. local time on Sunday, August 16th. The Greenville Police Department previously confirmed to People. Authorities were alerted to the medical emergency by a 911 call from a friend of the Scream actress, TMZ reported, citing law enforcement sources. The identity of the caller has not been shared publicly at this time. According to the outlet, first responders attempted to resuscitate Panettiere using, quote, advanced cardiac life support. In addition to CPR, this involved special medicines, breathing tubes, and heart rhythm tracking. Panettiere was reportedly pronounced dead at 2:32 p.m. as chest compressions administered by paramedics were also unable to revive her. According to a dispatch audio obtained by People, officials were heard discussing an, quote, overdose and, quote, cardiac arrest around the time of Panettiere's death. The Greenville Police Department and Greenville County Coroner's Office are leading the investigation into her death. The preliminary investigation has not indicated any signs of foul play or suspicious circumstances, a spokesperson for the Greenville Police Department said in a statement obtained by People. Quote, an acquaintance of Ms. Panettiere placed the 911 call. Police informed People that Panettiere's official cause of death won't be released until after an autopsy. They did not confirm claims that advanced cardiac life support techniques, quote, advanced cardiac life support techniques were used to revive her. After starring in the ABC soap opera One Life to Live in 1994, Panettiere had high-profile roles in Heroes, Nashville, and the Scream franchise. She leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter, Kaya, shared with former fiancé Vladimir Kalinko. And People reminds us, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health challenges, emotional distress, substance abuse problems, or just need to talk, call or text 988 or chat at 988lifeline.org 24/7. As I said to you before, Hayden Panettiere just released her memoir. And I said this on X last night. And I'll be talking about this a little bit in the book review that I did for Patreon in regards to Brandy's book, Phase's memoir. And Brandy talks about this in her book as well. When you start digging into just things that have happened to you in the past, I'm not surprised that this may have caused a lot of pain for Hayden. She's already opened up about struggles with substances and things like that. So it wouldn't shock me that opening that old wound could have triggered, a relapse in her recovery. But also, just when you have an addiction, relapses happen. And just the whole promo that she did broke my heart, and I know a lot of people's hearts, people that grew up watching her on One Life to Live. I completely forgot she was on One Life to Live because, I used to watch the soaps as a kid, and I remember her on that. But I remember her more so for her roles on Heroes and Nashville. She was a phenomenal actress. The way she was able to just invoke what it felt like to be a star in that role in Nashville, because she was playing a star. She was playing a famous singer. And the way she was able to really capture that. Now, when you look back at her life, you understand how she was able to kind of capture the darkness of that role. So very, very sad news to report in regards to Hayden. I definitely send love to her daughter and her family that are mourning this loss right now, and to all the fans, because I think people don't realize there are a lot of people that connect with people like actors and singers because of their art, and and through that connection, they feel solace, they feel happiness, they escape their own challenges and issues. And people that read her book or saw the interviews when she was promoting the book could relate to either the addiction that she had gone through, the abuse that she had experienced. So prayers for anyone going through anything. And every time that we talk about someone that passes away, I always remind you guys, it's a reminder to those of us that are still here and living to live more fully, no matter what that means. That could mean getting help for your own addiction or mental health issue. That could mean taking that risk that you were on the fence about, and you're seeing this video right now and like, oh, I think he's talking to me. Yeah, I'm talking to you. That could mean, oh, I'm supposed to make an appointment for my physical or my mammogram or my colonoscopy. This is your reminder to do that right now. Okay? All right. Before we get into our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, we got to pay some bills. But speaking of your health, that's why I love our friends over at MyFitnessPal. They are helping us keep track of our health in so many different ways. Okay, real talk, MyFitnessPal moment. Because this week has been a lot, I moved. So my kitchen's in boxes and I'm basically eating like a raccoon. And then to really round things out, I also had a colonoscopy this week. Yes, living the glamorous life over here. But listen, jokes aside, if you're at the age where you should be getting screened, go do it. The prep is the worst part. And even that's honestly not that bad. Early detection saves lives, and an afternoon of being a little dramatic on the couch is worth it. Trust me. Now, here's what nobody warns you about. Between the prep and easing back in, your whole diet gets turned upside down. My routine was gone, and the one thing that kept me from completely losing it was logging everything in MyFitnessPal. Even when my meals looked nothing like normal, I could still see it, stay on top of my protein, and get back on track faster. Because, as I keep telling you, your nutrition is the foundation that everything runs on. Your energy, your recovery, all of it. Go to podcast.myfitnesspal.com, use code KEMPIRE, all uppercase, for 15% off MyFitnessPal Premium. And don't forget, that is only $68 for the year, $5.66 for the month, and 19 cents a day. Go to podcast.myfitnesspal.com and use my code KEMPIRE, all uppercase, for 15% off MyFitnessPal Premium. More information on MyFitnessPal Premium and your discount will be available in the description. Thank you, MyFitnessPal. And we're back. Guys, don't forget to like today's video. It's easy for you to support not just my channel, but other channels as well, including our sponsors. And again, you can save so much by taking advantage of our discount code with MyFitnessPal. That's $68 for the year. That's $5.66 a month, 19 cents a day. More information on that will be available in the description. All right. Oh, hold on. Let me see what Ma Schneider says. Thank you, Kemp. My beloved uncle, not wanting to get his colonoscopy, got sick years later with stage 4 cancer. Preventative care could have helped him. Exactly. My doctor literally said to me, because there's another option that you can have instead of the colonoscopy that's less of a headache. However, you have to do it more often. And my doctor said, however, people of color are greatly affected by colon cancer. So I said, as soon as he said that, I was like, let's send a referral for my colonoscopy. And I got my results back last week. And I shared it with you guys during our last live. I got my results back, all clear. I don't have to go back for another 10 years. And I thanked my doctor. My doctor actually responded to me today. Thank you. You're very welcome. So go get tested, y'all. And then I have my physical at the end of the year. I feel like I'm always at that damn doctor, but it's okay. It's all right. But I also get in this country because I also get the doctor's bills. So I also get why people do not want to go, but we're going to keep talking about more opportunities for people to go to the doctor and not have to worry about co-pays and insurance not covering everything and things like that. So Anyway, let's get to the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Let's start where we ended last week, and that was with K. Michelle and Shamia arguing. And I have to remind us that K. Michelle, you were the one to bring up whatever happened at the hookah lounge with Mama Morton and Shamia. Because Shamia's like, well, I'm going to let K. Michelle talk about it. And K. Michelle's like, well, you were the one who brought it up. No, she wasn't. Look, no, she wasn't. You were the first person to talk about this on camera with Pinky. So when we come back into part 2, they don't start there. They start with Cynthia coming out. Cynthia looks amazing. Cynthia is going to be 60 years old next year, y'all. Cynthia looks great. I still don't know if I love the bodysuit under it, but those, you know, when we went to her Instagram, we got to see the full thing and she gave us a full story behind it. The network loves Cynthia because I told you when I was reading the write-up for the reunion looks, they gave her basically half the page because she was telling the story about, you know, the designer and working with this designer, and it's like a full circle moment. She looked phenomenal. She came out, body was, did y'all see her body in the bodysuit? I said, Cynthia looks amazing, but never mind the body and the outfit. Did you see the face and the hair? Did you see the face and the hair? Cynthia looks so good. I will say this, based off the edit, we didn't get a lot of Cynthia in part 2. I'm okay with that because Cynthia is playing her position as the friend. And it seems like the network loves her in this position because you saw how Andy introduced her. You saw throughout the season when people would come on Watch What Happens Live, Shamia and Kelly talking about the dirty room. Andy was defending his girl, Cynthia. So she is production and the network's favorite right now. So they better leave her alone. But here's the thing. Cynthia says she's open to returning as a housewife. And I've already said countless times, Cynthia should remain a friend of. She gave 10 plus years of all kinds of drama as a housewife. I think this really is a sweet spot for her. And I think she should remain in this sweet spot. Because they're already dragging her, you know, oh, you team Porsha and da-da-da. I think if she was a full-time housewife, I think it would be harmful to her relationship as well. So Cynthia, stay where you are, girl. But I feel like we didn't get a lot. We didn't get a lot of Cynthia in part 2 until they played her song. We're going to get to the song. We're going to get to the song in a second. Go stream my song, Fat Fat, on Spotify and Apple Music. Just saying, I got an EDM song too. Go stream my EDM song. Go right now. I'm going to give y'all a second. Put TheKempire in, and it's called Fat Fat with a PH. Come on, go get it. Me and Cynthia going to go on tour. Okay? She can open for me. Oh! She can open for me. Okay? My song's been on Spotify, and I actually am singing on it. Okay? Ashley says, let me go stream. Go stream it right now. I'm going to give you guys a moment. Okay? Just because, oh, fat. Yes. Fat. PHAT dash, I think FAT. I would play it for you guys, but they might strike my channel, even though it's my song. Hold on. I'm gonna play a small part of it real quick. Hold on. Please hold. Kempire. Okay. TheKempire. Make sure I put TheKempire, because then it's not gonna come up. Okay. It's on streaming. Yep. Fat Diva Nation Club Mix. Okay. Okay, that's all you gonna get. Go. Oh wait, I'll play a little bit of me singing. Look. Let me do Andy. What the hell was Andy Cohen doing, y'all? What is that? That's the man y'all have hosting Love Island with those 20-something-year-olds? What was this? I said, I couldn't even listen to the song and enjoy the song because Andy had me cringing. I couldn't even look. I just had, I need to hear the song in full without envisioning Andy. Andy, crotch all akimbo, literally got his legs in the stirrups, y'all. And then, what the corny? Right? Sam says Andy was really turning up. L. Ramey says, I loved Andy. It made me cringe. I said, what is he doing right now? And then when they did the mic drop, he was like, this man. I was like, come on. Exactly. Hold on. Where's the comment? He really liked the song. Or someone said he really liked the song. Then he forgot where he was for a second. A mess. Grayada says, oh wait, Gray Area says, because why was he leaned back and legs wide open for that song? I guess that's what he does when he at the club. I guess he don't just be twiddling the nipples at the club. He be. I didn't. It was giving exactly what it was giving. Okay. I was like, what? I couldn't watch him anymore. I was like, I need to listen to this damn song. Okay. Talk It Is says, damn, Kip, you hate fun. That was fun. He looked corny. He looked corny as hell. It has nothing to do. I wanted to enjoy the song, and I'm looking at Andy like, what is he doing? That wasn't fun to me. That was just showing Andy's age. I was like, okay. I was like, all right. All right. Moving on from the. I'm gonna get back to the song because I jumped to the EDM song. These says that he was corny. Just saying. All right. Oh Lord. Green Yoshi says Andy is a wild one. Remember him and Anderson Cooper on New Year's Eve. Look. All right. Let me get to my notes because I haven't even gotten into the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17 reunion part 2. Okay. So before we even get to Cynthia's song, Drew asked Shamia a question about, the comment about Shamia not asking K Michelle, like the friends, my friends don't want me to be friends with you kind of thing. So Drew's question was making it seem like Shamia was doing that when it comes to the rest of the group. Shamia says that that's not the group that we're referring to. I'm talking about Candy and some of these other friends. She's talking about Rashida and all these other people. Okay. However, Porsha decides to chime in and says it does have to do with this group. And she believes that Shamia's behavior with K Michelle was manipulative and that she was trying to isolate K Michelle from the rest of the group. Which was interesting to see K Michelle and Porsha on the same side because in part 1, they weren't necessarily on the same side. So K Michelle says Shamia was constantly asking her to be loyal in this group. Shamia confirms that she's like, yeah, I was asking you to be loyal to me and be a real friend. Shamia, no wonder you've been quiet since the reunion was filmed. Because remember, you were saying Shamia's been real quiet. Everyone else has said something on social media, but Shamia's been real quiet. But Shamia confirms, like, yeah, I did ask you to be loyal to me. And it reminds me of what happened and what was exposed in last season's reunion, where Shamia was accused of trying to form an alliance and trying to bring Porsha into said alliance. So it feels like that's exactly what Shamia ended up trying to do with K Michelle. So everyone that had speculated, including Angela, that Shamia was in those other girls' ears and she was trying to separate the group, for me, I was like, oh, it's kind of confirming that. Here's the thing too, because people be like, I thought you don't believe K Michelle. You said that K Michelle's a lie. She is. Doesn't mean that she doesn't tell the truth sometimes. The same with Shamia. Doesn't mean that Shamia doesn't tell the truth sometimes, because during this recap, there will be moments where like, I actually believe Shamia. And there'll be moments where I'm like, I actually believe K Michelle. Doesn't mean that they don't lie. There are some people that lie about everything. I do believe that sometimes they tell part of the truth and part of a lie. The same with Porsha. When Porsha talked about what happened when they were on that trip last season and they were talking about Charles, and she said, I should F Charles. I do believe some of what Porsha says. What I don't believe is that Porsha didn't say anything beyond, oh, I don't really know him. I do believe she said more. So two things can't be true, right? I'll be twerking on this fence with Porsha. Okay. All right. Miss Hawkins says that Kate is a liar. She can be a liar, but can't she also tell the truth at some point? Okay. Some of y'all in the chat are liars too. Look, some of y'all in the chat are liars too. Okay. All right. Let me get to my notes, because then I'll be here for 400 hours if I don't start paying attention to my notes. Okay. So K. Michelle says that Shamia did in fact ask her. She was constantly saying that she wanted her to be loyal. Shamia denies that. She denies that she was constantly saying. She said, I may have said it once, but she said, I did ask you to be a loyal friend. Okay. So Porsha says, and that was the start of the alliance. Porsha was very active in part 2 of this reunion. K. Michelle says that Shamia was the one that ran and told everyone about their night out. But in fact, it was K. Michelle. It was definitely K. Michelle because we saw it. So apparently they had a recent conversation before the reunion, like 1 or 2 weeks ago before they filmed the reunion. And Kelly was there. Kelly literally was in the middle of this conversation. What happened apparently, because you remember we did a video where Shamia said during her V103 interview that someone tried to fight her. Well, it was revealed that it was actually K. Michelle. K. Michelle, when telling the story about this meetup, says, I slammed my hands on the table, but I didn't try and fight you. So Shamia gets up and reenacts what actually happened, but she reenacts it to Kelly. And Kelly's like, why are you doing it to me? And I believe Shamia. I believe that K. Michelle did do that because we saw how many times this season where K. Michelle was being confronted by Drew and she started getting crunk with Drew. Like she wanted people to hold her back. Do I think that she's actually going to fight you or hit you or do something? I don't know if she'll necessarily hit you. She might throw something at you because we've seen years of that happening before. But I do believe, Shamia, that K. Michelle was probably, acting all tough and getting in her face. I do believe that. What do you guys believe? Do you believe Shamia or K. Michelle? I'll ask the chat. Look, I'll ask the chat. I believe Shamia that K. Michelle was acting all big, big and bad. And I'm not basing this off of her Love and Hip Hop years. I'm basing it off of what we saw of K. Michelle this season. Every time she got into an argument with Drew, she would act like, people would hold her back and she would be like moving forward. We literally have 2 examples of that with Drew this season of K. Michelle. So I do believe that K. Michelle didn't just slam her hands on the table. I do believe K. Michelle was sort of like, do. All right. Moving on from there. So she then says that Shamia lied to her face when they had this conversation. So that's what got her so upset in regards to the incident with her mom. Shamia claims that K. Michelle tried to fight her. Kay says that she only slammed her hands on the table. So Shamia says she starts arguing the details of what happened the night with her mama in the hookah club. Here's the thing, though, Shamia, and this is why I keep twerking on the fence. And some of you are like, Kempire, whose side are you on? I'm not on anyone's side because I don't know these people, and neither do you. And we're watching an edited version of this show. We were basing your feelings on what they're telling you. But here's the thing, Shamia, you did this on the Carlos interview as well. Y'all notice how they never mentioned Carlos, but they mentioned Claudia Jordan in this week's episode. I thought that was interesting. Why don't they want to mention Carlos King anymore? Why don't they want to mention Carlos King? Because why not? He was a former producer. Like, why wouldn't you mention him? Why don't they want to mention Carlos? Anyway, okay. Back to this. Let me get back to my notes because I went on a tangent. So Shamia, in her Carlos interview, she did this as well. She was talking about the semantics as opposed to talking about the facts of the situation, about what happened in the hookah lounge. She's like, my mama wasn't wearing any revealing outfit. And again, that could be just laying out the facts like, oh, K. Michelle is not a reliable reporter, so you can't believe everything that she says. However, nothing that Shamia has said about what happened that night really proved to me that it didn't happen. Because Shamia is talking about what her mama wore, that they didn't go to the club at 2 a.m. It was actually 11:50 p.m. Those details does not prove that what happened in the conversation didn't happen. So I'm like, Shamia, can you get to the point? Because I'm not sure exactly what you're saying actually proves anything at all. Right? You're talking about the time, you're talking about what your mama wore, but what did your mama say? Did she call Porsha a Jezebel? Based on what we've seen of your mama, I could see her saying those words. Exactly. Right? You could see her saying, Porsha, that Jezebel like her mama. Okay. So K Michelle basically says, your mom FaceTimed her husband in the club and said that Mama Miss Diane tried to have. I'm deciphering because there was a lot of back and forth, so I'm trying to decipher what was being said and argued about. So based on what I'm feeling, they went to hookah club. Mama Morton got her things, pushed up, her white suit right after church, and it's 11:50 p.m., not 2 a.m. because it's late. Nothing but the devil happens after 2 a.m. So she got to make sure she get home before 2 a.m., right? So she claims that Mama Morton FaceTimes Papa Morton, and it's like, I'm here in the club with K Michelle. Can you tell her what really happened? Hold on, wait a minute. So does that mean K Michelle knew about the Miss Diane rumor, and that's why she had that facial reaction in Scotland? Not us figuring out the case. Not us figuring out the case. We're figuring out the case. So K Michelle knew before Scotland. That's why she had that reaction in Scotland. She was like, no, don't say it. Only one KBC says, bingo. Come on. So she's FaceTiming. Look, let me get it in the camera. She's FaceTiming Papa Morton, Mama Morton. K Michelle's on one side. Shamia's on the other side. I wasn't there. I'm making this up. Okay. Basically, I'm reenacting. I'm giving you a reenactment. So she FaceTimes Papa Morton, and she's like, baby, can you do me a favor? I'm in the club. I'll be home because nothing but the devil. Nothing but the devil happens after 2 a.m. So I'll be home shortly. But I'm at the hookah lounge. With K Michelle Kimberly. And she look, I've been trying to tell her she gotta remain loyal to Shamia because those Williams and that Miss Diane ain't no good. Ain't no good. The devil. Tell her about how she tried to have you come over and lay some pipes, and we weren't talking about those types of pipes. Tell her. Listen, K Michelle, you paying attention, girl? I know you had a few whiskeys. Pay attention. Okay? All right, because he gonna tell you the facts of the situation. Remember when Miss Diane, she was having pepperoni pizza on Cordell's couch, and then all of a sudden she calling you to come lay some pipe, and we're like, where is she like? Why she wants you to come over there and lay some pipe? And K Michelle's just like, I don't want nothing to do with laying the pipe, and you know that Porsha is a Jezebel, just like her mama. All right? Just like her mama, Jezebel. Okay? I'll be home shortly because, like I said, nothing but the devil happens after 2 a.m. Okay? Nothing but the devil happens after 2 a.m. Okay? So that's what happened. So K Michelle knew about the mama situation before Scotland. That's why her face, so many of you said it. You said K Michelle knew about that situation beforehand. So Shamia, you lied because you said that you didn't tell anyone about it until Scotland. Now I cracked the case. Come on, right? Come on. So that is what happened at the club. Let me go back to my notes because we're figuring this out together, y'all. We're gonna figure this out together, and I'm gonna take callers at the end, and I want to hear your speculations because y'all have been saying, y'all said K Michelle knew about the mamas. That's why she had that reaction in Scotland. She was like, no, Shamia. It was K Michelle. I know you've done some acting, but come on. I still see her face in that moment. She's like, no, Shamia, don't do it. Shamia crashed out. She definitely crashed out. So K Michelle accuses Shamia's mother of calling Porsha a Jezebel, and even Andy's reaction, he's like, Jezebel? Who called her Jezebel? So Porsha gets activated in this moment. She claims that Kay has told her already some of the things that Shamia's mom has said. So it seems as if K Michelle and Porsha have been having their own conversations. And K. Michelle's been running back what Shamia and her mama has said. So Porsha's like, yeah, I've already heard a few things. So now this turns into a Shamia and Porsha. So we're already getting the foreshadowing of part 3 of this Atlanta reunion. All right. So K. Michelle says that Shamia's mom FaceTimes her husband in the club and talked about Miss Diane laying pipe and getting her pipes fixed. I don't know. Y'all read between the lines. So Kelly says that K. Michelle and Shamia should not, because she's in the middle, because she was actually there when they had to sit down a couple of weeks before the reunion. And she wasn't at the club. Kelly was not at the club, because I know some of y'all probably confused. Like, wait, when did they meet up? So they must have met up before the reunion, like a week or two before the reunion, and Kelly was there. Preparing for the reunion, they deny that, but I think they were preparing for the reunion. But K. Michelle claims that she was getting annoyed with Shamia because Shamia was claiming one thing to her face versus what actually happened, according to K. Michelle. All right. So Kelly claims that K. Michelle and Shamia should not let the noise from the other couch affect their friendship. And we're all like, how is this the other couch's fault? No, y'all keep it to that side and what caused the issue. What caused the issue isn't this other couch. Drew's like, no accountability. Look, no accountability. Kelly, look, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. Do I love Kelly all the time? No. However, despite everything that she's been, thrown at her, she hasn't sweat. Even in that outfit, in that terrible wig, she doesn't sweat it. Even with everything online, people dragging her, Kelly doesn't sweat it. No matter how many times I talked about Kelly and that mangy dog, she still follows me on Instagram. I gotta give her due. Even Porsha can't even follow me. She got me blocked because she's still mad. She's very sensitive. And I always find Pisces to be way more sensitive than Cancers, but apparently not. Because, Kelly might get in her feelings eventually. And look, it is what it is. But Kelly's still following. All right? And I have to give her kudos. Okay? She keeps getting knocked down by everything and everyone. And she keeps fighting. And according to Andy, they don't check bank accounts, so she's going to keep her job. She's definitely going to keep her job. All right? So Kelly says, you got to not listen to the noise from across the couch. And the other couch is like, what are you talking about? We ain't said nothing. What are you talking about? So then Angela and Kelly get into it. Angela claims that Kelly's current restaurant's about to close. I don't wish that for Kelly. Honestly, because, having a restaurant, how long has that other restaurant been open? How long has Nana's Chicken and Waffles been open? I feel like I've heard about that place for a while now. So I don't wish that on her. I think it probably is going to do well just because she's on this show, to be honest. But according to Angela, she says that her current restaurant, the one that Drew didn't visit, is about to shut down. And she's like, no one on that side of the couch has a brick and mortar. And then Phaedra gets offended by that. It's like, excuse me? She's just like, I am successful. I have businesses. Look, I don't know in regards to Phaedra's actual success, but one thing we have to say in Phaedra's defense is that we don't see her out here looking broke. We don't see her out here owing anyone or being sued by anyone for owing money. She's had her home for 10 plus years. This new home she's had even when she wasn't on the show. I gotta give her some credit. I'm like, I know somebody's going to come in like, Kempire, you didn't like Phaedra. I don't know Phaedra not to like Phaedra. I can't say I like Phaedra either, but you know what I mean? But yeah, so Phaedra is very offended by that. Phaedra was so activated in this reunion, but it needed to happen. It needed to happen because Phaedra's sort of been gliding by these last couple of years on Traders, on Married to Medicine. Sidebar, did you guys see NECA on with the ladies of Married to Medicine? They're about to start filming. Just pay attention to social media with the Married to Medicine crew. All right. Anyway, I've digressed. So before we move on, guys, we got more bills to pay. Look, shout out to the sponsors. And one of these sponsors, It's literally right back here. Shout out to Lola Blankets for sponsoring today's live. Look. Okay, I have to talk about this because this just showed up and I have not stopped touching it since. You see this? This is Lola Blankets, and this is genuinely one of the softest things I own. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I was just showing this to my friend, and she was like, oh my God, this is so soft. You know, I'm a blanket person. Winding down usually means something on in the background and something soft around me. And this one is a different tier. It's ultra soft, luxury faux fur, and it's got this stretch to it, like four-way stretch. So it's not stiff. It's actually moves and drapes the way that you want a blanket to. It instantly makes wherever it sits look more put together. I basically claimed it for the couch already. Look at this. You know, I just moved, so this is perfect. And it's not just a pretty piece. It's machine washable. It's double hemmed, so it actually holds up. No piling, no shedding, even after washing it. It's not precious. You can actually live in it. They've got over 20,000 five-star reviews. And honestly, once you feel this thing, you get why they call it the world's #1 blanket. This is officially replacing a few blankets I already own. For a limited time, my listeners and viewers, that's you, can get 40% off select Lola blanket products with code KEMPIRE at checkout. Head to lolablankets.com and use code KEMPIRE for 40% off your order. 40%. Again, lolablankets.com, code KEMPIRE, 40% off. And after you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Let them know we sent you. That actually supports the show. Wrap yourself in luxury. This is Lola Blankets. Look, it really is super soft. It looks like a real fur shawl right there. Look, okay. Fabulous. All right. Guys, we have nearly 2,000 people watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. We appreciate you being here for Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. More information on all of our sponsors and everything Kempire will be available in the description. If you haven't liked the video already, be sure to like the video. I will be dropping the call-in link in a moment. I still have a lot more to talk about, so we're going to take our time. We're almost an hour into our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's a subscribers only live chat. And thank you, Miss Parker, for reminding people we have a live show happening. Did you guys know that? We have a live show happening September 25th. Literally this week, it'll be a month away. A live stream option is also available if you can't be in New York City. But if you are in New York City, will be in New York City, or want to be in New York City, get your tickets today for the Kempire After Dark, a live show. It's our last show of 2026. So let's go out with a bang. All right, let's go out with a bang. Taria Faison will be our hostess with the mostest from the What Else Is Going On podcast. She's returning, so make sure you're following her. She will be joining us on September 25th. All right. Also, don't forget, guys, we are raising, we are getting the Amazon wish list for Danielle completed. A lot of you have already donated. I've donated. I will probably donate more. So if you haven't already, scan the QR code and help us fulfill this Amazon wish list for the 5th annual Women's Hygiene Drive. This is providing just some of the basic necessities, even, women that are perimenopausal. Shout out to Dr. Phaedra for telling us, what you can add some fans, some handheld fans for our unhoused community in the DMV area. So you still have time. You still have time to fulfill the Amazon wish list. There are a lot of really, really great items that we all can do as a community to help. All right. So be sure to scan the QR code or screenshot so you can get back to it later. All right. And if you're listening to this, you can also check out the description for more details. And also, you guys, you can find the link in the description of this video as well. All right. Let me say thank you, because we had a few super chats, and then we're going to get back to our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Shout out to all of our new members. Danielle, thank you so much for becoming a new member. We appreciate your support. Demi, thank you for being a member for 30. Now I'm hot. Woo! And it keeps you warm, y'all. Demi, thank you for being a member for 30 months. Demi says, also, the Dave steaks weren't good at Mercedes-Benz. Oh wait, that's Derek's business, right? They weren't good, but good for him for having a restaurant in there. Saw Todd, by the way. Bias means your opinion isn't mine. Oh, apparently. um, look, I'd never had Dave's cheesesteaks, but I mean he has multiple of them, so the business is doing well. The Dan Talk, thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. Dan says Kelly was really mute during K. Michelle versus Shamia. I think because she's friends with K. Michelle and she's friends with Shamia, and Shamia's her landlord. K. Michelle, is lethal with the tongue, so she don't want no smoke. I can't blame her. She did not want to be in the middle, but she literally is in the middle. Cindy, thank you so much for the super chat. Cindy says, I live in McDonough and her restaurant here does well. My family and I have gone many times and it always has patrons. That's what I've heard. I've always heard that about her restaurant. Her restaurant, if it's in McDonough, that's far from Atlanta, right? That's a good ways away. But good for her. And you guys said she brought the restaurant in a bad, not bad, but it's not conducive for with Sandy Springs and how they eat in that area. Hence why she probably thought that bringing something like that there, meaning that there was no other business like that, would do well there, but apparently not. That's sad. Ariel says McDonough 35. Why did when I wanted to go to McDonough to go to Mariah's thing, people told me it's far. Thrive says it's 50 minutes from Buckhead. I guess it depends. I know the Atlanta traffic. Okay. The Atlanta traffic. Charge, yeah, it is far. I go back to Atlanta wanting to try Nana's. Well, it couldn't be that far because I was gonna order it, right? I was gonna order it on DoorDash when I was in Atlanta. But they were closing early because they opened early and then they closed by like 4 p.m. So it couldn't be that far because they were gonna deliver it. Or maybe it wasn't. I just, didn't realize it was that far. Oh, okay, look. It's 30 minutes. 30 minutes from Atlanta on a okay day. Traffic is horrible. So that's probably what people were referring to. Oh, hold on. Alexandra says if you think Atlanta's traffic is bad, you will loathe McDonough traffic. Really? Atlanta's traffic is pretty damn bad. Okay. Yeah, 30 minutes on an okay day. Traffic here is the devil. Well, in every city, you hear all that noise? Okay. You hear all that noise. All right. Green Yoshi says Atlanta, I'm sorry, your traffic is worse than New York. Here's the thing though, in New York, at least we have the option of a very functional, I know as a New Yorker, when I say very functional, but for the most part, it's a very functional subway system. We have plenty of options outside of driving that can get us around. So that's the difference. And I know in Atlanta, you guys have your own train system, but it's not the same as the New York system. Okay. Everyone, see, we go on tangents. Everyone's like, yeah, the McDonough traffic is bad. All right. Duty says, every time Kempire is live, I hear the NYPD in the background. That's not the NYPD. That's ambulances. That's fire departments. That's New York, though. No matter where you are, that's New York. And I'm not in my studio, so that's why you're here. I mean, I think you're probably still here in the studio. We'll see. We'll see once we're in there. All right. Let me see. All right. Thank you so much, Rashawn, for the super chat. Rashawn says Kelly was on mute when K. Michelle and Shamia were going at it. She didn't want to get evicted. You can't be both homeless and have porcelain teeth. Rashawn, thank you so much for the super chat. Honestly, I don't believe it's because of that. I believe she doesn't want to be caught between the two of them because she's good friends with both of them. You know what I mean? Yes, I live in New York City, Florida, Nikki. Born and raised in New York City, and I live in New York City. All right. Let's move on. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like today's video. It's easy, free way of supporting. You can also hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. I did just drop a new Club Kempire episode. I know some of you aren't subscribed, but Club Kempire is our Apple podcast paid subscription where I spill a lot of tea. I talk about shows that I don't talk about anywhere else. Matter of fact, I might do another episode and talk about Married to Medicine because I have a lot of thoughts on Married at First Sight. I have a lot of thoughts, but did I spill some tea about Married to Medicine? I'm going to spill it there on Club Kempire. Okay. I'm going to spill it there. So be sure to subscribe to the Apple Podcast subscription, Club Kempire. All right. Let's move on. Let me get back to my notes because there's just so much more that I haven't discussed. All right. Pinky. Oh, Pinky. This conversation is going to take many turns. But Pinky, I don't know what's going on with Pinky because she could be so light and fun when it's everyone else's story, but when it's something related to her own story, she's very defensive and she can't see or hear from anyone. Even when Cynthia was trying to give her grace and just say, it feels like we're not sure where you stand. Are you okay? Or are you not okay? Are you okay? And she even shut Cynthia down. And Cynthia was like, I understand the difficulties of running a business because I used to be married to that loser, Peter Thomas. She didn't say that. I said that. But yeah, we've talked about this before. Owning a restaurant is not easy business. So the fact that she has multiple around the country, is successful, should be applauded. But what I think gets lost in this moment is the fact that Pinky she's not able to show that vulnerable side to herself. Even though K. Michelle reveals, like, she is upset about this. She is very vulnerable. She is very hurt by this. But she doesn't show that side to the group or to the world. And that could be a coping mechanism. But before we even get to Pinky's package, they play, because there isn't a lot of Cynthia in this part 2 of the reunion. But they play Cynthia's EDM song. Apparently, it looks like LaPrince, her boyfriend, who's also a musician in the Netherlands, he put together this EDM song. And the group didn't even realize that she had the song because they played a little bit of it during the mid-season trailer. So they end up playing the song. And Andy Cohen is loving this song. He's having a good old time with this song. He's just like this. Look, legs all akimbo. And I'm just like, this song doesn't require all of that. It's one thing to have a good time and be like, I was just like, it does not require all of the legs akimbo, the gyrating, the fist pumps. I'm just like, what is going on? All right. What is going on right now? But anyway, they play the song. I want to hear the full song. All right. But I tell y'all, go stream my song. Look. Go stream my song. Yes, go stream my song. Okay, bad. Diva Nation Club Mix. All right, I did it before. Cynthia. Cynthia, look, let's go on tour together, Cynthia. You can open up for me, okay? Oh Lord. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Sincerely says, just starting your live. Is it menopause? Because lately you've been giving grouchy, judgy, bitter Betty energy and just not the fun recap it used to be for me. Well, you don't have to watch. Sincerely. Am I not allowed to have a bad day? I want you to start a YouTube channel, Sincerely, where people are constantly talking. And mind you, I don't even read all the comments. I want you to start a YouTube channel and people are constantly critiquing everything about what you say, you do, and look like. And just because you see a moment, am I not human? Am I not allowed to be upset? This is why I don't share stuff with you guys. Now, if I really shared everything with you guys, then you would understand. But am I not allowed to have a moment, Sincerely? Am I not? But again, you always have a choice. You've been getting real bitter and grouchy lately. Well, you don't have to watch. But you're still here. You still here watching because obviously you're getting something from it. Just because we have a moment doesn't mean if the entire recap was like that, now I could understand. Pretty Brown says Sincerely is Kelly. No, it's all right. Yannette says the audacity of people. It is what it is. This is what I'm talking about. People think that I'm not human, that I'm not allowed to have a moment. Am I not? Rashawn says, Pinky, are you okay? Thank you, Rashawn, for the super chat. Rashawn says, when Andy was dancing like that, I gave the same concerned look Nene gave Kim too. Ring doesn't mean nothing. Oh my God. Exactly. Ebony says, people say that when you don't agree with them. And we never all agree in the chat. We just all know how to disagree with each other. Ooh, KNC says, Kempire is nice. Nicer than I'll ever be. Yannette, I'm not gonna cuss out. She's not worth it. Okay. McDonough is awful, but the because of the big trucks. Oh, all right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hold on. I'm just trying to. Danny says, I've laughed so much through this recap. That's the thing. That's because I know the majority of you have a good time during a recap. Because if you weren't having a good time, you wouldn't be here. All right? You wouldn't be here. All right, moving on. Let's move on. Back to our recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let me see. Oh, okay. So we get into Pinky's package. Pinky talks about her bankruptcy, and she says, "You know the blogs we blogging." Pinky, that part of your segment, I was sort of like, "What do you mean the blogs we blogging?" Yes, the blogs have all kinds of different opinions about you filing for bankruptcy and whatnot. But when you said the blogs we blogging, I was like, "What part did the blogs get something wrong in regards to what was going on with you?" Because let's be honest, even though during the reunion you said that you're not losing your house, based off what the latest update was, it seemed as if you could be also giving up your main house that you currently live in. But she's claiming that, oh, it's a part of her other residential properties. I'm like, well, not according to the latest update. But okay, she said the blogs we blogging. All right, fine. But Phaedra decides to chime in, and she questions Pinky about making bankruptcy seem like a positive thing and using it as a tool. We've talked about this countless times, but if you watch the Peacock version, she talks a little bit more about this, because we have to keep in mind, I don't remember the total amount that Pinky is trying to offshoot when it comes to the debt that she owes. This is where I kind of agree with Phaedra and the rest of the group and disagree with them, because we know we've talked about how bankruptcy can be used as a tool, especially when you're in a situation where you're trying to elevate, you're trying to reorganize your business, because there's many different types of bankruptcy. I believe she filed, what was it, Chapter 11? Was it Chapter 11 she filed for? I can't remember if it was Chapter 11. But she was trying to reorganize her business, because she literally had someone that just recently went to jail for stealing from her monetarily and not paying her workers and things like that. So she said there were a lot of people that were mismanaging her business. It's important to note when she talks about this bankruptcy and the people that invested in the business, she literally says, in at least the version on Peacock, she says, every dollar that anyone gave to me to start this business was used appropriately. I get where Phaedra is saying, oh, I don't think you should be so flippant about filing for bankruptcy when people really believed in your business and really believed in you. That doesn't mean that these people actually lost money from working with Pinky. Or if they did, some of these folks can write that off. Or they already saw they were losing money before she filed for bankruptcy because of people stealing from her, mismanagement. But Pinky says in the reunion that, every restaurant that she owned cost about almost $1 million to open them up. But she also says every dollar that was given to her that was invested into the business was allotted to what it was supposed to be allotted for. So she wanted to make that very clear. So that's where people will get it twisted in regards to what Phaedra was saying. It's not about her taking that money and mismanaging and just, oh, I'm not going to pay them back. It's not that. It's definitely not that. She's trying not to have to pay back lawsuits for different things after the fact. So anyway, Phaedra brings up that, there were a lot of African American investors. Pinky says, well, I also had a lot of white investors as well. Okay. So what do you, she was very defensive in regards to that. Pinky says that she protected a lot of people, so she won't even get into some of the details of why her business took the turn that it took. And I think part of the reason why it got so heated between her and Phaedra was because Pinky was kind of like, none of y'all have owned a business like this, a restaurant or anything like that, which is true, because owning a law firm versus owning a restaurant is very different. You know what I mean? Or any other business. It is very, very different. But coming that way at someone, and I get why some people that watch the show feel on the fence about Pinky, because she can come across very cocky, doesn't show vulnerability. And luckily, the Pisces, K. Michelle's, chimes in. It's just like, I know it's coming across like Pinky doesn't care, that she's flippant, that she doesn't care about her investors, that she's using this just as a tool. But Pinky, she's like, Pinky and I have had conversations where she's crying about this, where she's very emotional, but Pinky's not showing that side of herself with these women or to the audience. So, which is part of the reason why people are like, yeah, I don't know if I like Pinky or not. But Pinky says, she finds it interesting that when white people do this, people allow them to move on and start new businesses and live their lives. But when a Black person does it, it's sort of like, oh, you're a terrible human being. That is an important conversation to have, because when we talk about big business, and she listed all the big businesses, she was like, when this business filed for bankruptcy, no one says anything. First of all, a lot of those businesses don't have a face, a public figure attached to it. So that's part of the reason. They could probably say what they want to say about it, but they don't have a connection to that person. That's the downside when you are the face of your brand. Okay. But I think Pinky, the way that Pinky addressed it, not Porsha being the voice of reason, I was like, look at the Porsha showing a lot of maturity here. And she was like, Pinky, we're not saying that you're a terrible person, that you didn't, you weren't able to create a hugely successful business. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that the way that you address it, the way you're sort of it doesn't seem like you're sensitive to the people that invested in your business. But during the other version, the Peacock version, she does talk more about the bankruptcy and the business and how it was formed. And she emphasizes none of the money that was given to her invested into this business was misappropriated, basically. Okay. But the back and forth, I appreciated the back and forth between Pinky and Phaedra because it activated Phaedra. But what did I tell you? A lot of times the energy that we see between these women have nothing to do with what they're arguing about. Because what we later find out is that Pinky's really upset with Phaedra for going to the higher ups about allegedly like a pow, pow, pow. And it makes me think like, wait, what exactly did I could see Pinky, saying something, but Pinky denies it. Pinky definitely denies it, and she wanted to make it clear. But the back and forth between Pinky and Phaedra, I was just happy to see Phaedra activated. Okay. Pinky says that she protected a lot of people. She won't get into it. And, people, this could happen to any of you guys, including Phaedra. And Phaedra's like, no, it couldn't happen to me. I'm self-funded. Oh, yeah. But here's a part. I don't know if this is played in the Bravo version, but in the Peacock version, Phaedra says she wants to know what are the profit margins for radioactive burgers. Phaedra was activated during this reunion, which it needed to happen because she's been deactivated most of the season. And I know they cut out a lot of her scenes, but why did they cut out a lot of her scenes? Just asking. So Porsha, being the voice of reason, tries to come in and tries to explain to Pinky why people are feeling the way that they're feeling. Okay. Pinky explains what it took for her to start this business, and she had a lot of wrong people running her business. She says everything that she said was going to that she was going to do with the money, she did. As I said to you before, K. Michelle came in Pinky's defense. She said that Pinky has shown so much remorse and hurt over this situation. Kelly tries to defend Pinky, and she's like, look, Angela was filing for bankruptcy as well. Angela points out, I never did, though, because Angela was chiming in during this whole bankruptcy conversation. She says she exposed all of her stuff in her first season when she first came into the group. She says the issue with Pinky is that she comes across so cocky and says that, I could buy all of your foreclosed homes. And like, it doesn't land when you see all the stuff that's happening in the media when it comes to Pinky. So she said that's her issue with Pinky. So Cynthia tries to smooth things over as well and chimes in. And even that, Pinky was not trying to hear. And I feel like that's why people, the audience and this group, probably are finding hard to warm up to Pinky. I think Pinky had a good first season for a newbie because she shared a lot and she provided a lot of really funny commentary in her confessionals. I thought she was really a good addition, especially when people first heard of her. They're like, I don't know about this one. And they saw her fashions, like, I don't know about this one. I think overall, no, hate her or love her, because if you were looking at this from a producer perspective, it's not just looking at, I like her as a person or I could be friends with her. It's more like, what does she bring to the group? Does she land well? Would she fit in with earlier years of Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies? I think Pinky actually had a very solid season. And if you had to grade her, like give her a letter grade, I probably would give her a good B. I would give her a good B for bankruptcy. I give her a B for bankruptcy, right? Anyone else? I give her a B for bankruptcy. Come on, y'all. Give her a B for bankruptcy. Come on, everyone. B for bankruptcy. Just saying. Anyway. All right, let's pay some bills. Come on, bills.
You know what's wild? For years, I watched people in my life try to force their hair into routines that were never built for them. Using the same products, the same just do this advice you see everywhere, and wondering why nothing worked. Turns out one size fits all almost never fits textured hair. It's not about trying harder. It's about using what's actually formulated for your texture. That's why I've been paying attention to Basque and Lather. As you already know, you can take a look at my beard. Their stimulating scalp and hair balm is made for curly and kinky hair specifically. 100% natural ingredients that actually penetrate the strand instead of just sitting on top and clogging things up. No petroleum, no lanolin, none of that heavy, greasy buildup. Give it about 3 months of consistent use and people are seeing real changes in breakage and shine. You all have been telling me this in the comment section. And their hydrating hair mist, aloe vera avocado oil, is perfect if you're rocking locks, twists, or braids and need something to fight frizz and dryness without messing up your style. What gets me the most though is the story behind it. Basque and Lather is Black-owned, family-operated. It started because CEO Shayna's little sister was misdiagnosed by a dermatologist who told her her hair might never grow back. Instead of accepting that, Shayna and her mom went and formulated their own scalp and hair oil. Today, her sister's hair is down to her hips. That's the kind of energy behind every product that they make. Explore viral bestsellers and products for healthier hair of all types at baskeandlatherco.com. That's baskeandlatherco.com. Use code KEMPIRE for 20% off. Thanks to Basque and Lather for sponsoring today's live. More information on Basque and Lather will be available in the description.
And we're back. Again, more information on Basque and Lather will be available in the description. Still using their beard oil, still and on their beard shampoo and all that good stuff. I just cut down my beard the other day, so that's why it doesn't look as luscious as before. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to our King's Guards for holding us down for our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions and how you would rate this week's episode, part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17 reunion. All right. And don't forget to join us on Patreon, guys. A lot of really cool things are coming to Patreon, including our book review. I know I've been talking about this for a long time, but we are almost at the final edited stage. So go get your membership today at patreon.com/TheKempire, because the book review will be exclusively on Patreon. Okay. All right, let's get back into this recap. Let me just say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Florida Nikki, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. It says just supporting. We appreciate your support. You can also support, guys, just by liking today's video. Island Princess, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Florida Nikki, thank you for another super chat. Florida Nikki says, no one accused her of her mishandling. That was Kelly. Ooh. Kelly caught out there. Tish, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a King's Guard and member. Tish says, I wish Pinky had shown that remorse on screen. It reminded me of Erica Jane, just cold and defensive. Yeah. For some reason, she has a problem showing that side. Wave Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Wave Keith, and for being a member. Wave Keith says, calling Pinky defensive when we're talking about her owing millions is gaslighting. Whenever the cast asks about her bankruptcy, it's never, how are you doing? But always, why did you do it? Ooh. Well, that's a good point. All right. Let me get back into my notes. I still have a lot more to talk about when it comes to this part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. And I just dropped the call link for Royal Court members and senior royals here on our YouTube channel. So go snatch that up. Team Kempire members, I'll drop the call link for you guys on the post tab in just a moment. So we're still talking about Pinky. So Pinky discusses more details about her bankruptcy, the things that were revealed in the bankruptcy, including how much she makes a month personally. And we've talked about this endlessly because as someone that owns my own business as well, you're supposed to pay yourself, depending on your state, it varies from state to state. But here in New York, you have to pay yourself a certain salary. All right. And sometimes if you look at that salary, you're like, damn, that's all you make. Well, no, that's how much I paid myself. That's not how much the business actually made for the year. Okay. Hence why if you start a business, you should have a really good accountant. Okay. So she talked about paying herself $6,000 a month. So Andy was a little confused by that. He's like, oh. So then she says, I spend $80 in gas a month, $300, for my children, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Kelly reveals that she used to see Pinky at Davio's, which is a steakhouse. So it goes back. Speaking of Kelly's the one who said the things. Kelly was the one who said that Pinky, ate meat, because that was a storyline this season. And she's like, I used to see Pinky all the time at Davio's, and that's a steakhouse. Kelly not thinking, did you ever literally see her eating meat? But here's the thing, when you're vegan, and if they have vegan options, sometimes those vegan options actually look like meat, but they're not. But she says that no, Pinky has her own little special menu at Davio's. So that's why she said what she said, but she does apologize to Pinky for that. Phaedra says, Pinky has never apologized to her. And Pinky says, and I won't be apologizing. And we're like, what is this energy between Pinky and Phaedra? So Pinky reveals that Phaedra called the higher-ups about her having to protect herself when it comes to a certain device. So we are piecing together this, especially when Andy sort of tries to bridge a gap between these two women and tries to have them apologize to each other, that apparently Pinky's upset with Phaedra being a, quote, narc to the higher-ups, and that she thought that Pinky might be a threat. And this was before they even started filming. So I don't know what exactly Pinky said, but Pinky denies saying it and said that Phaedra was just sitting there mute, I guess whenever they had this meal or whatever it may be. But here's the reason why people say that Andy Cohen is biased. And here's where bias actually works in regards to when you guys say, oh, you're being biased. If you're a moderator of a conversation like this, you really shouldn't be biased, because you need to be able to garner conversation and resolution amongst both sides. But if you're showing a bias towards one side, it tarnishes your ability to be a good host. And I'm not saying that Andy Cohen's a bad host. However, there were multiple times in part 2, or actually in part 1 too, that showed Andy's hand and who he favors. And I didn't appreciate where he says, well, and I get it, this is his position, the multiple position of being the host, but also an executive. He says, well, please understand that, I've known Phaedra a long time. And if she really wanted to make an issue, she would have called me. She would have called people in New York. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, Andy, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. I'm not defending Pinky, but I'm saying that it doesn't mean, you're just showing your bias here. Like that wasn't necessary in this conversation. Okay. K-Baby says Andy was definitely on Phaedra's side. And I get it. He knows her. But at the same time, I just felt like that doesn't land the same way that he thinks that it lands, especially when you're supposed to be the moderator of this conversation. But anyway. Let me see what you guys are saying. Sean says Andy didn't even let Drew finish when she was stating the different movies and was on that she was on. He cut her off and let K Michelle talk. And a lot of people are wondering, why is K Michelle even next to Andy? Even after watching part 2, a lot of people are wondering, like, why is she sitting next to Andy? Because if you base it off of the season, I'm waiting and I'm thinking this is just the network trying to play a game, a psychological game. It's psychological warfare being a housewife. They want to put Porsha next to Andy because that's a power position. Look, Kenya's talked about this. Nene's talked about this. It's not just about you having the most drama during season. Sitting next to Andy is supposedly a power position that they are playing with these women. So it wouldn't surprise me that they put K Michelle there to sort of show a different balance of power. Yes, Andy might love Porsha, but I wouldn't be surprised that there is no loyalty to Porsha like that. But he's like, yeah, we're going to put K Michelle here because K Michelle wants to be the queen. She thinks that she's the queen. She thinks they're favoring Porsha. No, we're going to play a game because clearly when you base off of how the season goes, I don't think that I can see her being maybe second to someone, but not necessarily sitting next to Andy. I think they're playing a game. The V-Light says that K Michelle is next to Andy because she's a celebrity. Could be that. But yeah. But here's the thing. Nothing gets bigger. Look, nothing gets bigger than a Kim Fields. Kim Fields wasn't sitting next to Andy at her reunion. Kim Fields is an icon. Argue with anyone else, but Kim Fields is an icon. So Tammy says, I think Andy likes K Michelle. No, he definitely likes K Michelle because she's kooky enough to bring what he likes to the show. Because please understand, Andy Cohen doesn't like anyone authentically. He likes what you can offer him. Okay? He likes what you can offer him. So the whole Nene of it all, he don't like Nene. And I'm not saying that he needs to. Nene called him a crackhead and a racist. Exactly, Mr. Andy. That's what K Michelle refers to him as. And Porsha thought that was so cute. Andy doesn't like Nene, but he will do whatever that needs to be done when it comes to his money. Period. Okay? So, and he knows that, even talking about Kenya this past week, he knows that Kenya has her strong fan base. So he's never going to be like, oh, I hate Kenya. Kenya ain't coming back. She's a liability for the network. Okay. So, look. Come on, Island Princess. Island Princess says, Kempire, pleased with Kim Fields. What do you mean? What do you mean? Tootie? Come on. Excuse me, Regine? And then what character did she play on the Upshaws? Okay. Do not even come in here with no shade against Tootie and Regine. Okay? She's been famous all her life. All right? Nothing gets more famous than Kim Fields when it comes to the people that have been on this show. All right? El Ramey says that Nene thought that she was bigger than the program. She definitely did. All right. All right. Let me move on because we still have so much to get into. Do I have I'm going to use my timer on my phone. I can't wait to get back into the studio, y'all. Lord. If you guys had to rate this week's part 2 of the reunion, how would you rate it from 1 to 10? How would you rate it from 1 to 10? Be sure to let me know in the chat. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know as well. All right. Let me move on. Where are my notes? I can't even find my notes. See, this is why I'm not used to all of this. All right. So Andy tries to defend Phaedra in that moment, okay? Pinky explains why she didn't tell her husband, Derek, about the bankruptcy at first, and explains why she didn't want him to bail her out, because she says that the bankruptcy, she said credits were coming at her personally. And she says that why would Derek take care of something for a business that had already dissolved? We talked about this. I'm actually really tired of talking about the bankruptcy and just how it's not necessarily the way people make it out to be. Okay. So Drew and Pinky then discuss her auditioning. So first of all, Pinky reveals that the series that she's working on with Notori Nunn, who's on Broadway right now. I just saw that she's on Broadway, and she says that the ink isn't dry yet, but she has secured a deal with a big network. So congratulations to Pinky. She's got her hands on all different things: reality television, the restaurateur, and now scripted television. Okay. So Drew, here's the thing. So Drew basically explains why she had the experience that she had with Pinky in regards to auditioning for her show. I gotta say, Drew was right. Drew is part of a union. Some people that don't understand how that works, she can't just say, I'm going to audition for this role. There are steps. And apparently Pinky skipped all those steps. And Pinky wanted to make it seem like she was upset that Drew called it a cattle call. Andy reminds her and says, well, sometimes that's what they call it in that world. But the thing is, too, Pinky, you made a lot of snarky and shady remarks about Drew and her acting. And they were making remarks even when Drew was saying, like, I've been a part of independent films before, and shows and series before. So I'm not against doing that, but there's a protocol. There are steps to doing stuff like this. And I have to give it to Drew. She's right. Kelly tried to take a dig and says, oh, her Tubi movies. Sleep on Tubi, and we all make jokes about Tubi, but Tubi is like the #1 streaming app. Say what you want. And yes, and there are some not so quality movies that are there, and maybe Drew's in them, but it's been very lucrative for a lot of movie actors and actresses and producers. So yeah, there are some movies on there you're like, oh my God. But there are people still making millions of dollars from creating on Tubi. Okay. And based off of this divorce, Drew's making money in a variety of different places. I know it was revealed like, oh, she was bringing home personally. And I told you that's probably because she's getting her other checks to her LLCs, which was confirmed. Basically, her Atlanta check was like almost $600,000. That what she just got paid for this past season. That wasn't being reported probably because the network probably pays her LLC. So look, I think people learn a lot, especially when we talk about these things here during our recaps in regards to how people are paying themselves, how businesses run, and what's being revealed. It doesn't necessarily mean exactly what you see in the blogs. Okay, in the blogs. All right. Kelly should keep her mouth shut. Well, she's never going to do it. I mean, she was very vocal during this reunion. Very, very vocal. Judd says that Kelly is annoying. Okay. All right. Sean says, Kelly laughing at Tubi and broke. Drew needs to make money any way she can. Lawyer fees are not cheap. Not at all. Not at all. Chow Bella says, Kemp, did you move why you moved from YouTube? No, it's on Patreon. I posted it on, like, meaning to go to Patreon, but no, that is on Patreon. I talk about it there. Oh, actually, it's not on Patreon. Sorry, it's on Club Kempire. That's what's on. That's where it's on. Club Kempire. I will probably eventually post it on Patreon, but Club Kempire's got it first. Damn, TJ says Kelly should focus on Gary. The man that won a default judgment against her, y'all. For those that don't know who Gary is, they brought him up last week. All right. Let's move on. All right. Was there anything else that I want to talk about? This Pinky talks about. Pinky then ends up talking about being a lesbian and revealing that she was in a relationship for about 3 years and she was carpet munching. And she's like, the thing about lesbians is they get serious real fast. And then Porsha talks about that's how she's always been, even with men. And she's like, oh man, I didn't realize I was lesbian. Her and Andy having their own little kiki about this. Like, so is Porsha a lesbian? Or is Porsha bisexual? Oh no, she's Porsha sexual? Okay. I think she's bisexual. I think she still wants to be with a man. You know what I mean? Not to say that she wouldn't take Sway seriously, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like she'll do both. Right? All right. Anyway, so backstage, speaking of Porsha, so backstage, Porsha reveals that she did a lie detector test the night before. So she's telling Drew. And the lie detector test is because she's upset with the fact that Kelly's doing all these, interviews, and she's saying all these things. What about my children? What about my daughters? And Portia's like, what about my daughter? So she said she did a lie detector test. And immediately when she said this, I was like, here we go. And it's not the fact that lie detector tests aren't admissible in court. It's not the fact that lie detector tests aren't the most reliable and can't be tricked. It's just sort of like, Porsha, really? But apparently Porsha passes this lie detector test. We still haven't figured out what this chair was for that's at the reunion. I guess in part 3 we'll figure out. It better be the mamas. How do you guys feel about when Andy says, because later on when we talk about the mamas, Andy says, look, can we not talk about the mamas? I feel differently about talking about the mamas. First of all, you guys have been talking about the mamas and alluding to the mamas all season, since last season. The mamas are grown adults. It's one thing when you say don't talk about the children. The children, they're minors. They can't say yay or nay to being featured or discussed on the show. The mothers are grown women. Your daughters have brought this to the show. You guys, the mothers have talked about said people on the show. So I'm not here for keep the mothers out of it. I'm not, because the mother's already in it. The mother's already in it at this point. Exactly. The girls club says Portia's lie detector moment came across as a stunt. It clearly was. And literally when they talk about it, where Phaedra says it's not admissible in court all the time. It can be tricked. She's like, well, in the court of Housewives of Atlanta. So it was definitely a stunt. It was a moment. Do you believe Porsha? I don't even know what to believe, honestly. Because Portia's not the most reliable reporter and Kelly's not the most reliable reporter. But at the same time, we haven't mentioned the man. Tiara says a stunt and a show. All right. Oh, Lexi says, let's take it to the gutter if you bring in the mamas. Damn, well, I don't know. I didn't say we have to go to the gutter, but somebody say if you bring up the mama, that is going to the gutter. Well, come on now. Nikki says, how many times did we talk about Mama Joyce? Well, that part. And some might say, well, Mama Joyce was on the show, but so has Miss Diane and so has Mama Morton. And apparently Mama Morton's at the club with her, things pushed up, smoking hookah and calling Porsha and her mama Jezebel. And her mama calling the husband, talking about, come fix my pipes. Look, come fix my pipes. All right. Okay. All right. Moving on. Hood Darren says, I mean, Mama Joyce ain't the one to play with. I mean, I don't think any of them are ones to play with. But all right. I just feel differently about talking about the mamas. I feel like at this point, they're grown adults. All right. Let me get back to paying some bills. Okay. We're going to pay some bills. I don't even know where my stuff is. All right. Let me just say thanks to RHOA for sponsoring today's live as well. Hold on. Let's bring it up. Boom.
This episode is sponsored by RHOA. Let's talk about GLP-1 medications for a second, because I feel like most people rule themselves out before they even look into it. They assume it's going to cost a fortune or that insurance definitely won't cover it. So why bother checking? But that assumption alone keeps a lot of people from ever exploring treatment that could actually work for them. Here's the thing. RHOA is built to help you find the lowest cost path to FDA-approved GLP-1 medication, whether that's through your insurance or a cash pay option. They've got a free insurance checker tool. You just submit your insurance card, and a few days later, you get a full report showing exactly which GLP-1 medications are covered and whether you need prior authorization. No phone calls, no waiting on hold, and you don't even have to be a RHOA member to get that report. Just know that the checker covers GLP-1 injections specifically. And if you don't have coverage or no insurance at all, that's not the end of the road. RHOA also offers discounted FDA-approved cash pay options, including GLP-1 pills and injections. that's shipped right to your door. If I were exploring GLP-1 treatment for myself, and some of my friends have actually used this as an option, RHOA is where I start. Over 1.5 million people have already trusted them on their weight loss journey. And once you're a member, you've got a provider on demand for whatever questions come up. Go to rho.co/Kempire to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/Kempire to get started on RHOA. For side effects of GLP-1 medications, including box warning, go to rho.co/safety. More information on RHOA will be available in the description.
Hey, y'all. Look, I had to get me a snack. Look, I had to get me a snack. Look. I've been live for an hour and a half. I'm trying. Look, I have to save it in my what you call it, my Fitness Pal. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. It's a long live, and if y'all want me to keep going, okay. Just saying. Okay. No, we heard. I don't know why. I guess I didn't mute my mic. It's all right. Okay. Hold on. Let me say thank you. Rashawn, thank you so much for the super chat. Rashawn says, Kelly has no room to talk about Drew making Tubi movies when she spent $70,000 on plastic teeth. Rashawn. Thank you, Rashawn, for another super chat. Rashawn says, Dr. Heavenly talks about mamas all the time. Well, look, well. Thank you, Tasman. Tasman says, go ahead and eat your snack cap. Thank you. They don't realize these lives end up being like 3 hours. We haven't even dropped the call-in link for the general audience yet, but we did drop the call-in link for our channel members. I will be taking callers in just a second, but I still have a lot more to talk about when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta's Part 2 reunion. Okay? All right. Let me open up my notes again because I keep losing my notes. All right, I can't wait to get back in the studio where I have multiple screens. Lord. All right. So then they talk about, after we find out that Porsha did a lie detector test backstage with Drew, we have them talking about the married men of Atlanta, basically, because that came up a couple of times. I didn't even realize until they did this whole segment about the married men, conversation, cheating married men. So Shamia reveals how she knows George and says that George was always with Ashley when she knew him. Shamia claims that Angela said that that Ashley was uncomfortable around Shamia because she slept with George. Based on the flashbacks and the unseen footage, it doesn't prove what Shamia was saying. But like I said at the top of this, I'm so over the Angela and Shamia battle because I don't think their issues really are that deep. And honestly, I'm putting this more on Angela than Shamia. Because even during this part of the reunion where they're going back and forth and talking about how it all began, and Angela says it began because Shamia called me messy, and that's why she was coming for her ever since. And I feel like Angela, no, it's giving very much like what we've been saying. We don't get why you're so pressed and why you're constantly coming for Shamia. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Okay. So, Angela says that she never said that, but she did ask, "Are you effing George?" Kelly says that she had, because now it turns into, because Kelly was chiming in all throughout the reunion. So Kelly says that she's had a husband for 11 years and she never had to get pregnant to have one. She's like, play with somebody else, not me, ho. What? Angela says her husband puts her in the rooms, but not in courtrooms. I'm like, okay. First of all, when Kelly said that, she had a husband for 11 years, sidebar, because when they talk about the pastors of it all, and she said that Pastor Jamal Bryant did her vow renewal, you were married to that man for 11 years. You did a vow renewal at the 10-year mark. I don't know. That stood out to me. I was like, at the 10-year mark, you did a vow renewal. They do say that vow renewals sometimes are, ruins the relationship. But I just found it to be interesting. Then in the 11th year, you're like, I'm divorced. I'm getting a divorce. But okay. All right. Things happen. I'm just saying. I just found it stood out to me. So Kelly says, I had a husband for 11 years and I didn't have to get pregnant to have one. And then I said to myself, is she talking about Gollum 2.0? Why is she acting like that man is some sort of prize? I was like, okay, Kelly, that man's no prize. Okay. You may have had a husband for 11 years, but your man ain't a prize. Just saying. But okay. So Angela's like, my husband puts me in the rooms. All right. She puts me in the rooms, but not the courtrooms like yours. All right. Kelly says at least her husband remembers marrying her. Here's the thing, too. I'm mad at Charles because he gave these women fodder to come at Angela with. And he did that not necessarily on the show, but he would do it in interviews. And that's who Angela should be more annoyed with, is the fact that he gave them fodder to run with. All right. So Angela reveals that she had tried a friendship with Shamia because they both were married. They both were Tauruses. Shamia says that she doesn't understand Angela coming for her for one messy comment from the unseen footage that I just discussed. All right. Pinky asked Angela whether she really forgave Porsha because she made a lot of shady comments in her confessionals. So Angela addresses that. She's like, well, it felt like everyone was coming for me. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to definitely be shady in my confessionals. This is where the alliances come in, because I did feel like during the reunion that Porsha would address some of the comments that Angela made, because Porsha is sensitive. So I could definitely see Porsha being upset with Angela, but I feel like because of alliances, they're not going to show it during this reunion. But I thought at least during the reunion that Porsha would address some of the comments that Angela made. Although funny and shady, I just also felt like Porsha would not like that. And I really did think, and I've mentioned during our recaps, I thought that Porsha would actually address it at the reunion. Like, I didn't like those comments that you made about me. And that maybe there would be some accountability and apologies. But Angela was just like, no, I said what I said, and I'm going to keep saying it. But Angela owns what she says in the confessionals, and she said Porsha hasn't brought up Charles since. Shamia asked Angela, is she trying to get her kicked out of the Hawks? This is her question, because remember, they're playing this, the housewives are asking each other fan questions. So Shamia asked Angela, is she trying to get her kicked out of the Hawks arena like Charles was kicked out of MSG, Madison Square Garden? So Angela asked, well, is the investigation that they have against you about what I said or something you did? And I was like, wait a minute. When you look at it from that perspective, I was like, all right. Look, all right. So Porsha chimes in during this conversation between Angela and Shamia. So Porsha claims, because she feels like they keep bringing her name up because of what was said during that trip, that she said that Shamia and Angela have had smoke for each other. After Shamia says that Angela has more smoke for her than for other people that try to screw her husband. And Angela's just like, wait, so you're saying that Porsha tried to screw my husband? No, not really. So Porsha chimes in and she claims that Kelly was screaming that Charles had a secret baby. She says that Shamia said that Charles has a woman in New York City and that he's in the streets. So Porsha says, I said I didn't even know Charles. And Shamia's like, no, you definitely said more than that. So here's the thing. I do believe Porsha when she says what Kelly was saying and what Shamia was saying, because they were saying these things during last season. However, I don't believe Porsha when she says that she didn't say anything else. Anyone else, do you believe Porsha didn't say anything else? You know what I mean? So I definitely believe Porsha said some other stuff. I mean, you said one of the worst things in regards to maybe I should try and sleep with Charles. But she says that her and Angela have been able to move on. She apologized for that horrific thing that she said. She really said it like that because she saw what people were saying. Like, that's like gross that you said that. So she said, I apologize for the horrific thing that I said. All right. And that they've been able to move on. But then we see where Andy tries to broker some peace between Angela and Shamia. Shamia apologizes to Angela, But Angela doesn't seem to be able to apologize to Shamia. No matter where you turn it, and then she's like, I apologize, but you guys stop talking about my husband. But they did flash back to when Shamia had the conversation with Angela and she wasn't able to apologize. I don't understand the level of vitriol between these two women. It's not that deep. I really wish that during this reunion, during this moment, they could have just really moved on, because it's not that deep. It's not that serious, especially on Angela's side of this. Especially on Angela's side. All right. So the battle goes from Angela and Shamia and Porsha to Porsha and Kelly. And this is where Andy reveals that Porsha did a lie detector test. And what are the results? So Porsha discusses that she is the proof in this situation in regards to her confronting Kelly about sleeping with a married man. And fans were wondering why would Porsha do something like that to her when Kelly did something similar? And basically Porsha was saying, it's payback. It's payback for what Kelly did. So Porsha reveals the lie detector test results. They flash to show the lie detector test results. And basically it shows that Porsha was telling the truth. So Andy asked Phaedra whether a lie detector test is admissible in court. She says, and oftentimes it's not. And that's because it can be tricked, the lie detector test. All right. Porsha says in the court of Housewives of Atlanta, it would be admissible. Okay, fine. Kelly did at one particular point ask people to stop DMing the pastors that she follows. And that's when she reveals, Pastor Jamal Bryant was the pastor that helped her renew her vows, blah, blah, blah. They start bleeping out names because Kelly starts mentioning names. Kelly even mentions Claudia Jordan. All right. She says that she's like, why don't we talk about why you're really mad, Porsha, at me? And it might be because they may have dated the same person. Damn, Porsha was outside, huh? When did this happen? Was it in between the Simon and the Sway of it all? All right. But all right. But Kelly says she's upset with Phaedra. And she doesn't understand why Phaedra feels the need to protect a cheating man. This is her question to Phaedra, the back and forth housewives questions that they're asking during this reunion. And she's like, does that protect a family or Phaedra's lives? Phaedra says that this is her client. She is she's barred in the state of Georgia, right? And she didn't want to bring this up. And she wasn't the one that brought this up. Kelly says that she's bothered that Phaedra never asked her about this. I don't know why she would, though, especially if she's talking about her client. I can see why Phaedra would not want to bring this up on camera. But Phaedra says something, and I don't know if you guys are paying attention to this, at least in the Peacock version. Phaedra says that she spoke to her client. So when she said that, I was like, wait, so you spoke to the client and the client confirmed that he slept with you, even though he's a married man? I didn't understand that part when she said she spoke to her client. So that's why she didn't ask any questions and why she basically took on what Frack had to say about this. So your client, who's a married man, admitted to you as his attorney that he definitely cheated? I thought that was interesting. Did y'all notice that part? Okay. Kelly says that Phaedra co-signed from you're co-signing from the person that got you fired from the show the last time. Porsha responds and says, good job, fan. You know the episodes. I was like, oh, wait, well, damn, not good job, fan. All right. Kelly says that there's the real reason that, why don't we talk about the real reason that you don't like me? And she then brings up the fact that Claudia Jordan said on Carlos's podcast, but she didn't say Carlos's podcast. She says that actually names the guy that they both dated. So she's naming all these names. They're bleeping it out, but she has not mentioned the pastor's name. And Porsha's just like, let her keep talking. Maybe we'll get to the actual name. So I'm starting to believe, Porsha, y'all, that there is this pastor out there. Okay? Porsha then tells Shamia, because Shamia tries to chime in, she tells Shamia to stay out of it before they discuss who Shamia was with that BET weekend. I said, excuse me? Wait. ma'am, who was Shamia with? And then I remembered that Gerald was with Shamia this BET weekend. Let's get the timeline together under Kempire Investigations. Let's get under investigation. The reunion was filmed before this year's BET weekend. Literally, I think it was like the same week or the week before. And remember, I was saying, damn, Shamia's been real quiet since the reunion. And then we saw pictures of Gerald with her during BET weekend. And we were like, not Gerald's outside. Gerald's with her at BET weekend. Porsha says this at the reunion before BET weekend. So I'm wondering if that's why she brought Gerald to BET weekend. Because she knew that this was said at the reunion. Oh, and someone said, wait, Carla says, and didn't shut it down. I know they're talking about last year's reunion, but I'm pointing something out to you guys. She's saying, let's not talk about who you were with BET weekend of 2025. And then I found it interesting that Gerald was at this weekend, this year's BET weekend. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait. I felt like it was damage control because he wasn't there the last weekend. And then this is going to come out. T says, I see it, Kempire. I just found it to be interesting, especially because at the premiere party for Ultimate Girls Trip, Gerald was in the house then too. Well, Satra says Shamia by herself at BET of 2025. Yes. I mean, she goes a lot of times to these events without Gerald. And look, and there's nothing to that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But apparently she's trying to say something happened. So Porsha tells Shamia in this moment, you be quiet, stay out of this before we talk about who you were with BET weekend. And as you guys said, I didn't see Shamia say much of anything after that. Look. Look. Okay. Okay. Look. Tassin says, we're picking up what you're putting down. Definitely damage control on Shamia's part. Because remember, this year's BET weekend with Gerald that she went with, literally they filmed this reunion before this BET weekend. So the reunion was filmed right before, literally like the week before. All right. Margaret says Shamia went very quiet for real. How would you guys grade how Shamia is doing this reunion? If anything, in part 2, it just confirmed for me that Shamia, the reason why we didn't hear from Shamia after the reunion, I'm seeing why. That she didn't have a great reunion. She's definitely standing up for herself. She's definitely trying, but she's not doing well at this reunion. She's not explaining herself well. I don't think it's landing well. The only thing that probably landed well for me would be the Angela of it all. But, damn. Someone said, wait, Miss Fancy. Hey, Miss Fancy Pants. I met Miss Fancy Pants at the Pop Roast Live here in New York City. Shout out to Miss Fancy Pants. All right. I met Miss Fancy Pants in person. She's cute. I have to bring some eligible single men to my live shows. Okay, because we got a cute audience. We gotta find you a man. Wait, you probably have a man. Let me not assume, Miss Fancy Pants. Let me not assume. Wait, are you single, Miss Fancy Pants? We might have to find you a man. Okay, look, we might have to find you a man. How would you guys rate part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17 reunion? Oh, Aaliyah says, why did Shamia even apologize to Angela? I think she was apologizing for last year and the things that she said. Okay. Oh, Miss Fancy Pants says she's single, y'all. To the eligible men that watch that are heterosexual. We do have some heterosexual men that watch. Most of them are married, but this is not the Porsha platform. Okay. Sorry, Porsha. Damn. Nonchalantly fabulous. Love it. says, I'm sorry, how the hell would Porsha know who Shamia was with when they weren't even friends or speaking at all? Well, that doesn't mean she doesn't know people. Remember, it's BET weekend. All the peoples are there. And you saw Shamia's response, the no response. I was like, wait. Because if someone says that to you, wouldn't you be like, well, who was I with BET weekend? And do you think that I would be pulling out Gerald when he normally doesn't even go to these functions? It's giving guilty. I'm not saying that anything really happened because I wasn't there, but it's giving a little guilty. Okay, Lene Review says, I'm so late. It's okay, Lene. We didn't even get to the callers yet. We haven't even gotten to the callers yet. Guys, keep liking today's video. We're almost literally 2 hours in to our recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you had to rate it, I saw a lot of you giving it a 7. I'd have to say part 2 is definitely better than part 1. Part 3, I'm assuming will be all about, because I'm sure there's going to be more Cynthia because they're going to talk about those dirty rooms. Allegedly, those dirty rooms. Look at the clouds behind me, y'all. That's beautiful. Look. Beautiful. Okay, that's a nice little background. Maybe I don't need to be in the studio. Maybe I don't be. Look, I'm looking like Andy right now with my legs akimbo. Y'all see my glasses? You want to know more about my glasses? Well, I talked about it on my TikTok, but I also talked about it during my little Mexico birthdays trip. I know I have not done a mailing list in a couple of weeks, but y'all know I was moving, so that explains it. So join our mailing list, TheKempire.com/join. Head on over there, join our mailing list, because when I'm dropping something or there's announcements, that's where it's going first. So mods, if we can post a link to the mailing list, TheKempire.com/join. Join the mailing list, y'all. Y'all missing out. As a matter of fact, I might drop a little something there for you guys later today. We shall see. We shall see. All right. Yes, these are green. Look, these are green. Okay. Made in Mexico. Okay. Made in Mexico. Mexico City. Oh, Cece says, I love that throw behind you. Cece, did you miss our ad for Lola blankets? 40% off right now. Go check out the description. Go check out the description. Lola blankets available right now. All right. Speaking of paying bills, so before we get into the callers, I did drop the call link for all members on the post tab on YouTube. Live chat, mods, can you just let me know how many likes we have? And once we get to a certain amount of likes, we have over 2,000 people watching on multiple platforms. Once we get to over 2,000 likes, I will drop the call-in link for the general audience as well. I am going to set a timer, okay? But before we do that, today's sponsor is our friends over at MyFitnessPal. Once these play, hold on, y'all. I don't know what's the delay. Please hold. I want to be honest about something because I think a lot of you will relate. The hardest part of tracking your food isn't the discipline. It's the tedium. It's the fact that every single day you're logging the same stuff over and over. And eventually you're like, I don't have the energy for this today. I've been moving all week. You know this is true for me. And that's the day you fall off. That's always the day it starts to unravel for me. Not because I stopped caring, but because logging my 4th identical breakfast, I'm a Taurus, you already know I'm eating the same thing over and over again. Eating the identical breakfast that week felt like a part-time job. And if you've ever tried to track your food and quietly given up around day 5, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So here's what I finally admitted to myself. I eat the same things constantly. I'm a creature of habit. Same breakfast most mornings. When I cook, I make a big batch and I'm eating it for days. You've seen it. I've gone live cooking. My diet isn't some elaborate rotating menu. And it's like 6 things I love on repeat. And once I accepted that, I realized I'd been making tracking way harder than it needed to be. I was logging the same meal from scratch every day, like it was a brand new information. And then I actually started using a feature on MyFitnessPal Premium called multi-day logging. And it's kind of changed everything for me because here's what it does. I log a food once and I can apply it multiple days at the same time, up to 7 days at once. So my go-to breakfast, I log it one time, send it across the whole week, done. That batch I cooked on Sunday, the stew chicken, that I know I'm eating Monday through Thursday, well, maybe Monday through Wednesday,
One entry all 4 days instantly. What used to take me a few minutes every single morning now takes me about 10 seconds one time. And here's the part that actually matters, because it's not a chore anymore. I actually keep doing it. The friction is gone, and consistency is the entire ball game with this stuff. And that's the thing I really want you to hear. Everybody talks about motivation, but motivation is not what keeps you tracking on a Tuesday when you're exhausted and your kitchen's a mess, or you've been moving all week and you had a colonoscopy in the middle of the week. What keeps you going is when the thing is easy enough that you don't have to think about it. And that's what this did for me. And once the logging was effortless, everything else got clearer. I could actually see my protein, stay on my goals, and keep the whole picture in front of me, even during a completely chaotic stretch. Because I keep telling you, your nutrition is the foundation everything else runs on. Your energy, your sleep, your recovery, your performance. All of it starts there. But you can only stay on top of it if the tracking doesn't burn you out first. So if you've fallen off before because logging felt too much, this is the one that fixes that. It comes to about 19 cents a day for premium, which is kind of wild for something that's basically a nutritionist in your pocket. Go to podcast.myfitnesspal.com and use code KEMPIRE, all uppercase, for 15% off MyFitnessPal Premium. That's podcast.myfitnesspal.com, code KEMPIRE. Go take care of yourself now. Thanks, MyFitnessPal.
And we're back. All right. Shout out to MyFitnessPal for being one of our many sponsors for today. We appreciate their support. More information on all of our sponsors will be available in the description. Guys, keep liking today's video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Be sure your notifications are on, and join our Patreon, because I will go live there tonight just to say hello. Maybe we'll watch Ultimate Girls Trip episode 2 together if I feel up to it, if I think if it's any good, because the first episode was really sucky. Just saying. But we talk about so much on Patreon, including my recent move and also my closet makeover. So be sure to check that out. Part 3 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion will be airing next week. And then we're done with talking about Atlanta, at least for now. We're done talking about Atlanta. And word on the street is that filming is supposed to start back up in the fall. So like September. And it looks like everyone will be coming back, and maybe some additional faces. I know Cynthia talked about on her podcast that that they were already starting to do casting, and she said that they do this every season, that they always do some casting. If there were some changes to this season, what would you change in regards to the cast? I mean, there wouldn't be a lot of people that I would necessarily reconsider. We already know Andy likes to give a first-time housewife at least 2 seasons, so I'm not going to even look at the newbies. I would have to look at Kelly. I mean, one thing I'm going to give Kelly credit is that she's able to take her licks and keep on kicking. But if it was between Kelly and Shamia, I would have to really look at the just sort of like, what does each bring? Because although Shamia is not great television, Kelly doesn't have a home. I'm being somewhat facetious, but at the same time, I'm like, does she? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm leaning more towards, I think Kelly is at least able to take it when it comes to it. But Lexi says Kelly is an embarrassment. Butterfly Soul says, and very annoying. The Girls Club says Shamia and Kelly gotta go. I mean, if they're able to find 2 additional newbies, that would be fantastic. Then, yeah. But I definitely think Kelly, and at least I know Shamia is definitely at least alluding that she's coming back next season. And I'm like, okay. I guess fame over everything, including your family and your mental health. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. All right. With all that being said, I want to get to our callers. Keep in mind, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors. Everything that they say is of their own opinion and alleged. And they're calling in of their own free will. No one's forcing them to call in. All right. They click that link. Okay. And they all agree to respect the timer. Okay. Please respect the timer. All right. And if you haven't, you were talking about EDM songs, go listen to my song, Fat Fat Divination Club Mix on Spotify right now. Look. Sorry. Shameless plug. Let me open my timer. Thanks for the reminder, Foxy. Let me open up my timer to remind you guys to respect the timer. Okay, Ms. Parker said. And I never talk about my music. I have a few songs on there. I got Climax. I got Will You. They all sound very, very different. All right. I need to go back. I need to go to Puerto Rico, go into the studio, and drop some beats because I feel like that's gonna be a hit. I already know. I feel like that's gonna be a hit, and I'm gonna do it for the lesbians. And maybe I can get what's her name, that lesbian that's a rapper. I know you're probably thinking like, which one, Kempire? the one, the recent one. What's her name? She from New York too. Y'all remember her name? She had that hit. Ooh, that song. She had the hit. I want her to be featured on it. Okay. Hey, Jasmine. Jasmine, would you work with Dennis Camp? I mean, Dennis did a good job. Dennis did a good job with Drew. You got to give him his credit. All right. Oh, Young MA. Okay. I'm going to get Young MA on my demo scissor. I know some reggae singers too. It's going to be the new ladies' night. Pun intended. It's going to be the new ladies' night of the summer. Hey, Taylor Shay. Yes, Young MA. We're going to get Young MA on it. Do we have any lesbian Jamaican reggae singers? Do we? Do we have any or even just a lesbian reggae singer? It doesn't have to be Jamaican. Do y'all know of any? We're going to get into the studio and drop some beats. Come on. Okay. Who's Jada Kingdom? Superstar 7? I mean, Lauryn Hill, I might not be able to afford Lauryn Hill, but she's not a lesbian. What are you talking about right now? Oh, it's Diana King. Diana King? Where's she been? Oh, Coffee would be fantastic. All right, Tish. We gonna get him. Wait, I gotta make the song first because they're not gonna want to do it until they hear the song and they see that it's popping. All right. Okay. Oh, she's a Jamaican rapper. I'm gonna listen to her stuff. And I'm gonna reach out. You think she's gonna leave me on red? All right, let's get to our callers. We have our members that are waiting backstage. Live chat. Mods, where are we at with the likes? We are at 700 and something likes. Let me refresh before we get to our callers. We're at 700. We're almost at 800 likes. Let's get to 900 likes, and I'll drop the call link for the general audience. Let's get to 900 likes. All right. All right, Kimmy, you got a bunch of Kimmys backstage. Hold on. Let me get rid of the other ones because I'm assuming that the last one is the one that works. Kimmy, are you there? Kimmy, you're muted. Kimmy, you're muted. Oh, maybe you can't hear me, Kimmy. Well, I got to remove you. Unless that's the wrong Kimmy I kicked out. Sorry, Kimmy, call back in. Call back in, Kimmy. All right, let me bring up Kathy next. Hold on, Kathy. Kathy, are you there?
I'm here. I can't believe I'm second. Hi, Kempire. So to answer your question that you just asked, I will let Drew go.
Oh my God.
Keep Kelly and Shamia. Surprise, keep Porsha too. But get rid of Drew. I don't like Angela no more. I'm kind of, I liked the last season, but this season, especially the reunion, she just kept on chiming in like the doorbell. I'm a nurse and I work in the cardiac unit. Sometimes like a defect and just keep on ringing. That's what she reminded me of.
Sorry.
I was just like, shut up. So it was just like a lot of noise. And all of the chiming, and I'm like, Angela, what did you bring to the show? The only thing that she brings is Charles. I actually love Charles more than I like Angela. So I would say keep Angela because Charles he's just real. He's going to say what he's going to say. Maybe he shouldn't say it, but I like it. I don't know. I just like real people, even if it's something I don't agree with. I just like that you're not trying to make up something, which I felt was the reason why there was so much noise. There was no real true issue between these ladies. They was just making a little thing into something more. So now when you have to discuss it, you can't discuss it because it really was no real issue.
Yeah.
The only good thing I felt in the reunion was, and the only real conversation that was mature was Phaedra and Pinky. I think that was a real conversation. I do feel like with Pinky, which I don't think Phaedra's going to get, that I do feel like Pinky feels something, but you got to think she's from the islands. Her parents are Jamaican, Caribbean. We don't really show our emotions to the world.
That's true.
Inside, probably we will, but to the world, we're going to show strength. But it doesn't mean that she doesn't feel.
That doesn't
something.
make it good for a reality TV show.
It doesn't.
Like she showed multiple layers, but she's gonna have to show some vulnerability. That's
what I was going to say, because I'm not going to take her side for that. I can understand it from that perspective, but at the same time, you are in the public eye, and you have to show some form of remorse, like. Don't say I don't care, because that's what she kind of was saying, and it doesn't look good for Black people who's going to look for investors, because now what you're saying is that we're not responsible and we don't care if we lose your money, So I just think that there should have been some level of accountability, and just some I really feel bad about this. Like in this moment, just realize that everyone is looking at you, Pinky. So I mean, that's what it was. I think everyone should come back, but take out Drew.
Okay, Kathy, I gotta let you go.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thanks, Kathy. Bye. I know you guys probably can't hear the timer, but I don't know if I can make it any louder than it already is. Dalen's backstage. Going to bring Dalen up next. Dalen, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I will say I enjoyed this episode of the reunion. It was so funny to me. But I honestly feel like Pinky went too light on Kelly, because Kelly said way more other stuff about Pinky in the beginning of the season, like calling her a mean girl and all that stuff, but you love her now and all this. But I feel like although Kelly is annoying, she will get in the paint if she needs to. Like, I give her her 10s for that, because she will get down and dirty when she needs to. She's not scared. With Angela, she's kind of ticking down for me, because she just reminds me of like a more likable Giselle, because she just is saying things, but she's more likable. But I feel like that's what saves her. But the lying just has to stop. And I just feel like Shamia and Porsha just stop talking, because Shamia wants to be a victim, but then she says she's a villain, and then she has victim traits. And Porsha, you just saying what comes to your mind, like you just made that up, Candyman, literally. But other than that, I enjoyed this episode. And Pinky is such a Sagittarius. That's my Sagittarius, sis. Because if we feel like you tried to hurt us, we're going to be shady as much as we can. I don't know. But I felt Pinky's frustration with Phaedra in that moment, though. But that's all I have for today.
Okay. Thanks, Dalen.
Thank you.
All right. Let's try Kimmy again. Hold on, Kimmy. Kimmy, are you there?
Oh, hey, can you hear me? I'm not sure if I'm coming through.
Can you hear me?
Hopefully that's a yes. Okay. All I wanted to say is I appreciate it, and I agree with almost all of your commentary, and I appreciate you being here even when you're moving and all that stuff. I think I'm kind of give Pinky a lot of grace right now. The woman's pregnant. She's swollen, and she's trying to work and keep things together. And I honestly think that she's also being authentic and genuine, like it or love it. At least she's giving something. And people got a lot to say, like Phaedra and other folks who are being disingenuine. And by the way, from what I understand, I don't know it all, but Phaedra's a scammer. And from what I understand too, in the past, she's trying to be all Miss Poise and this, and she go from being Miss I'm so sexually this way, ooh, and then I'm Miss prim and prom Southern lady. She full of crap. Whatever. I think she's funny though. I ain't against it, but I'm just like, Please, I have a long memory. I'm 50 years old. I've been watching this show since it came out. And so I remember where she came from and who she married, Mr. Air Mattress on the floor, and she got so much to say. She know about scamming. Ain't he been to jail twice? And she got to talk to somebody about somebody's husband? Please. I guess I really shouldn't care. It's a TV show. But I guess I got time today for this mess. And I don't know. I also think that same thing with other folks who coming at her. None of them have and done what she's done. At least she's giving back. She's doing fundraisers. What are y'all doing besides talking about each other and trying to help people? And I do think that Black people, number one, people who gave her money, talking about $25 million investments and stuff. These people know how to write stuff off. What are you talking about? That's a good tax break for them. Quit acting like she's outside panhandling and taking my measly $500 that I can't afford to give nobody. Please, then I'd be upset. We're talking people with multi-million dollars. Please get a clue. We are not dumb. Maybe they're dumb, but I'm not, and you're not. So I appreciate your commentary, and I'm probably over, so I'm gonna shut up. But y'all, please, and I understand people with real money ain't on this TV show unless they're Paris Hilton, and whatever. After Hilton, they're really, really bored. We can't get folks with real money, but they need to shut up. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, Kimmy. Damn, Kimmy had a lot to say. Wow. But I mean, look. All right. Oh, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to keep liking today's video. Have we reached our goal of 900 yet? Let me look. Let's see. We're almost there. I will drop a call link for the general audience once we get to 900 likes. We have over 1,800 of you guys watching now. Over 800, 1,800 on YouTube. I'm not even talking about those of you watching on Twitch, those of you watching on Facebook, those of you watching on X. Shout out to all of you for being here. And if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions as well. Let me say thank you to Carla. Carla, thank you for the super chat. Carla says the way Porsha held up her hand and dismissed Shamia was wild. She definitely ran that. Friendship. I agree. I already told you. I still believe that Shamia was probably a better friend to Porsha than Porsha was a friend to Shamia. But I also think that Shamia desperately wanted to be on this show by any means necessary. Thank you so much, April. Let me shimmy for the $20. Shimmy. April, thank you for the super chat. April says, and for being a member, April says, when Porsha says to hell, when Andy asks where they could go from here between her and Kelly, if I was Kelly, I would have said yes with kerosene boots and gasoline drawers on. But Kelly let me down with not responding. You're not going to get the responses that we would get from yesteryear when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta OGs. These women are not, the only person that comes close to that would be a Phaedra, maybe a Porsha, and Angela. The rest of these women don't deliver like that. They don't. All right. Miss Karen says that Kelly said that something like she likes the heat. Yeah, I have to give Kelly again credit that she still takes her licks and keeps on kicking, but I wouldn't say that she's the best reader at all. All right. Let me get to some more callers. All right. We got a couple of people backstage, and then I'll drop the call link for the general audience. Our members. Tish is backstage. Tish, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta's Part 2 reunion?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing? I'm loving the views. This place is nice.
I
haven't even been there yet.
Anyway. Okay, yet.
Right? I don't know. I just feel like Kelly is so full of ish. And no, I know. I edited myself there. But I can't take it. I can't screaming. I think she and Shamia needs two different things to move forward in this group. And I think she keeps speaking on behalf of Shamia. And Shamia is not going to get along with the other women as long as Kelly keeps chiming in, because two different processes need to happen. And when Kelly said, oh, as long as the people on the stuff with the people on the other side of the couch, I think that is not helping Shamia at all. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I think right message, wrong messenger. And and that's about it. I can't. Nothing else really like grabbed my attention besides when Annie said, "Calling who a Jezebel." That's it.
And his facial expressions what took me out, because he was like he was loving it, but at the same time he was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
Right. Yeah, that's all for me.
Thanks, Tish. Take care. All right, just in time. Turn that off. Can you guys hear the time? Y'all hear me munching? Y'all hear the time? Do y'all hear the timer? All right. Let me say thank you for being a member. Jamaki's been a member for 38 months. And she says, reminder to donate to Kempire's fundraiser, donating another $100 as a part of my what sign is this for? What sign is that? Is that Leo birthday? Happy birthday, Jamaki. And I appreciate that because some of you have donated multiple times, and thank you for reminding the folks that we are still doing our fundraiser until we reach $10,000 for the LGBT center here in New York City. So far, we're almost at halfway of our goal. So that's $5,000. Last year, we raised $6,000 in a matter of 2 weeks. And I get it. Everyone's situation is different, but you can also share our videos and ask your family and friends to donate a couple of dollars. We have thousands of people that watch the channel on a daily basis. Yes, we have thousands of people that watch the channel on a daily basis. Everyone, if they all donated $1, we could definitely reach our goal. All right. So let's not take too long to get to our goal. But thank you so much, Jamaki. 100% of your donation goes to the organization. 100% of your donation. Okay. All right. Girls, because we heard it. And I'm done with this is why I don't eat. And then when I'm cranky, you got sincerely mad that I'm cranky and bit. It's because I don't eat when I go live. All right. Patricia said the timer is funny. But that's the timer on the iPhone. That's not the timer I normally have. All right. Atish says the economy is killing us this year. I know. Look, I know. But you know what they say. When you give more, you get more. Let me guilting y'all. Let me guilt you some more. Don't forget the 5th annual Women's Hygiene Drive, helping the unhoused women in the DMV area. Danielle is spearheading this yet again this year. Scan the QR code or head on over to the description if you're watching or listening to this on the podcast. You can find the link there. Donate what you can in regards to helping us fulfill the Amazon wish list. I did mine over the weekend. I'll probably do more in the coming days, but you still have some time to go and help fulfill the Amazon wish list. All right. Let's get to some more callers. Have we reached our goal mines in regards to 900 likes on YouTube? Because then I will. Who's giving cult leader? How am I giving cult leader? I mean, I've had people that have looked at my birth chart saying that I could lead a cult. Jamaki's birthday is on the 22nd, so in 5 days. And technically, right now it's 234. Just saying, I love, the numerology of it all. Jamaki, happy early birthday. Hope you have a fantastic birthday. So that makes you a Leo, right? Because Leo season, when does Leo season end? Are you still like a Leo Virgo cusp? Maybe a little bit. Okay. Let's see. All right. Kate Perspective is backstage. We're going to bring up next. Shout out to all of our members. We appreciate them being here. Kate Perspective, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. So I want to give this disclaimer before I give my comment, because anytime I say or anybody says anything about Shamia, people say, well, she's not innocent. So Shamia is not innocent, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this. She got the nickname Lapdog, right? Because of how she would ride so hard for Porsha when Porsha wasn't being a good friend of her, right? But it seemed like Porsha is relieved that she doesn't have to pretend anymore. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. It's like the way she been going, like online, like jumping in when Shamia was, made her tweet and then Porsha jumped in and saying you lying on Andy, and then the way she is at the reunion jumping in. I'm like, it seems like she is relieved that she can say and do this to Shamia now. You know what I'm saying? And I actually just decided if this cast stay the same way, I don't think I'm gonna watch again because I don't like when it's all about one person. It just seems like it's just revolving around Porsha. And I actually liked Porsha. Porsha was one of the girls that I like. And I feel like this about any of the housewives, even my favorite. I feel like I don't enjoy it when it seems like one person gets away with everything, or it's just all about that one person. So I don't know. If it stay like this, I don't know. I think Shamia should leave. I like her. I enjoy watching her channel on YouTube with her family. But I hope she reconsiders coming back next season. Just go be with your family.
All right. Oh, perfect timing. Look at that. All right. Thanks so much, Kate, for calling in.
All right. Take care.
Bye. I do want to talk about Miss Brown Sugar says, random aside, Kempire, I'm loving these big windows and natural light in the background. Quite the pick me up for me as a viewer. Hopefully you too. I love that, Miss Brown Sugar. It is. I mean, technically, I really should have light on in front of me so that you guys, so it's proper lighting. This is not proper lighting. I mean, luckily I have my shades on, because if I didn't, then it would give like darkness under my eyes and things like that. But since I got the shades on in the background, it's like perfect. Okay, with the sky. Come on now, sky. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Brown Sugar, for being a member as well. Talk to Nian says, my birthday was last Wednesday, Camp 41. Happy birthday. Shout out to all the Leos. You know, I have a Leo moon, so I claim my Leo side. All right. All right. Let's bring up Keith next. Keith, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So first, I just want to say, my thing is, Porsha, I feel like, just says the first thing that comes to her mind. And truth be told, I think Kelly needs to go on IG and post a little story requesting a pro bono lawyer so she can be able to send a cease and desist to Porsha, just like how Candy did it to her. Because it seems like Porsha is only going to be honest when her back is up against the wall and she have a knife to her throat. Like, it's just unfortunate that she just... But I'm just being honest, like, it just seems like she is never going to be 100% honest unless she has no other choice, unless there's evidence right there in front of everyone's faces. So I don't believe anything she's saying. But also, I want to say the super chat that I sent about Pinky, I got a little bit of pushback, but, you know, I'm going to say what I want to say because it's how I feel. But my thing is this. I feel like the ladies don't genuinely care. They are just trying to be able to get information out of her. But no one, I feel like, is really coming from a genuine place other than Kelly, which is why Pinky was able to be vulnerable with Kelly. And even Angela, because they actually was coming and asking her questions. It wasn't just a barrage of just questions and trying to interrogate her. But one last thing, Phaedra, I got to say, that shade you threw saying you were self-funded was cute, but don't make me call Angela Stanton. All right? Because in my opinion, I think Phaedra must be the biggest scammer on RHOA, because I find it hard to believe that she didn't know how Apollo was making his money, because last time I checked, you don't make $1 million selling workout DVDs. But that's about it.
Thanks, Keith. Bye. Look, I had to put on my, not Angela Stanton. Wait, this looked like hair for a second there from the olden days. Hold on, if it was white, okay. I love this. If you're wondering where this blanket is from, check out our sponsor today, Lola Blankets, 40% off. 40%. It is so soft. Sexy. All right. Anyway, focus. Let's bring up Kayla next. Kayla, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta? Kayla, you're muted. Kayla. Yeah, Kayla, where you been? Where are you at, Kayla? She probably can't hear me. Kayla, drop out and come back in. Well, she won't hear that either, Kempire. Well, woo. Look, woo. Okay, let me bring up, hold on. April was next. April, what's going on? What did you want to share? Oh, let me drop the call link too. April, what's going on?
Hi, good afternoon, Kempire. So I did catch that comment, like you said, about where Phaedra was like, she talked to her client. And it's like, okay, so if you're going to talk to one client, then why wouldn't you talk to the other one? And if you're not going to say
bono.
Exactly. Ooh, not to say you got to pay me the coinage before I can tell you the name.
Yes.
And it's just like, okay, if you know the name, then say it. Like, just like, instead of blurting it out, just say what the name is. And I feel like K Michelle just switched sides when she saw that the tide was turning, which is why I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it to a certain degree. And I think with Angela, it's just like, you really don't, like, what is the reason? Why are you going after Shamia this hard? And one more thing, if you said you and Porsha made up, then why are you shading her in the confessionals? To me, that seems like you have not gotten over, because once it's dead, it's dead. Like, let it go. And I don't think she wants to go there with Porsha all the way. That's why she's saying, oh, well, I'm gonna say it right here because I'm a professional gangster or confessional gangster. So if it's good for the goose, then it's good for the gander, then the other ladies can do it. Have a good day, Kempire.
You too. Take care, April. Wow. I mean, I think sometimes though, when you have to keep in mind when they're doing the confessionals, they're not watching the scenes that we're watching. They're being told by the producers, which I'm sure the producers will feed them stuff like, oh, you could do better than that, in regards to the comments that they're making. Because even if they want to be nice and sweet, the producers are producing a show. So they want them to be shady. They want them to lean into that. So do I take everything that Angela says in the confessionals as, oh, she hasn't forgiven Porsha? No, I think she knows that people have these jokes about Porsha online because, you know, Angela stays online. And so she leans into that. So I don't take it 100% like that. And I think that's what she was trying to say during part 2 of the reunion. And maybe she still doesn't see it for Porsha. I mean, if you're going to tell me maybe I should F your husband, you already showed me who you are. Yeah, I can move on with you and we can be cool. But would I leave you around my husband? Probably not. Probably not. All right. All right. Demi's backstage. I'm going to bring Demi up next. Demi, what's going on? What do you want to share?
Howdy.
Hey.
Just wanted to, hey, and congratulations on your new move. I love seeing you prosper and progress. You have a real clear vision for yourself. That's much appreciated to see.
Thank you, Demi.
I wanted to say, it seemed like at the reunion, nothing was getting closed. And it was like, what is happening? I didn't like not feeling closure with any of the subjects. So it seems like for them to already have a definitive cast, seems like they kept things open so they can keep this cast for next season. I'm not sure if that's a contract thing. I don't know what that's about, but I'm not used. Yeah, I'm okay. Good to know. I'm not sure. Like there's nothing happening with them that I'd want to see for next season. It's nothing personal against like Pinky and her, having a kid. That kind of thing doesn't really intrigue me. Seeing Shamia possibly have that kid, maybe that would have kind of intrigued me because it was been the talk this entire time we've known her. So like, that kind of thing. But I think I'm not returning next year as a viewer. I'm because I can't see anything happening in episode, the third part of this that I feel like, oh yeah, I'm so glad I stuck it out to the third episode. But I'll still continue to watch you as always. But I don't think these ladies have anything for me anymore.
Thanks, Demi.
Have a great one.
You too. I mean, I kind of feel that way too. When Demi puts it that way, I'm sort of like, yeah, because it's like, intentionally, why you see them not dig deeper. You saw this last season when it came to Shamia and Porsha and their issues. I feel like they don't find the resolution, even though the reunion is supposed to be a resolution. They find as much resolution as they want. But I also think they are trying to set themselves up for the next season, which they're going to start filming literally in September. So I get why Demi feels that way in regards to like, will I be back for another season? Look, people already feel like this season, although it has definitely gotten better in comparison to like season 14 or season 15, it still doesn't have the same magic of yesteryear. And I get it. They're not going to be able to capture that magic, but maybe they could if they find the right people and they kind of conduct this whole casting a little bit differently. Maybe. All right, let me try Kayla again. Where's Kayla? I lost her. Oh, there goes Kayla. Kayla, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Happy Monday, Kemp and Kempire family. I thought that this episode, I thought it was pretty good. I did like the back and forth banter. Every time they flashed to Kelly, I thought it was like a chair. You know how you pull out the chair at the top and it's got that round handle at the top? That's what I kept thinking every time I saw her dress. And when I saw her on Peacock on the TV, I was like, oh, yep, it's still giving Ursula, very much so. And then for Pinky, I do like that she got Phaedra activated, but I don't understand why she was so, I think, just hostile. But it does make sense how she used to munch on other girls. Yep, I get it. I see it. I get it, girl. It's okay. I'm not shading her or nothing. I'm just being honest. I can see it. I see it.
I'm happy we all can agree with that. I think we can see it.
She's just so aggressive. I'm like, girl. Oh, she was demanding to really. Got it. Okay. I don't think you can say that no more, but I'm just saying, I think she was.
Good.
Yeah. Because that baby had to be feeling all of that tension she had.
Oh.
Like, this is a mess. But I do want to see more of Cynthia activated in the next part for sure. But
and definitely based on the previews, we're going to get more Cynthia.
Good. But I hope you guys have a great week. And can't wait for your hot, messy topics. And Kemp, it's okay if you are a villain. If I don't like what you say to the lady who said it about you earlier, I just fast forward through it. It's okay.
Okay. But yeah, no, yeah, again, no.
You know what I mean? Like, you get to be human. It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Kayla. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Bye. Thank you. Because I'm human, people. All right. All right. Let's bring up Tyler. Uh-oh, Tyler's backstage. Tyler, what do you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I will say this. I think the problem with Shamia is she talks too much and she's a people's pleaser. She's the true definition of a friend to everyone is a friend to none. She doesn't know when to be quiet. She doesn't have the spirit of discernment and say, maybe I shouldn't say this. But I will say this. Angela is Shamia with balls. And if y'all can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Angela is who Shamia would be if she knew how to speak up for herself. She lies just like Shamia. She starts stuff just like Shamia. It's just that honestly, the people are afraid of her reading them and jumping into their business. That's why Porsha plays nice with Angela. That's why Phaedra plays nice with Angela because Angela is going to dig dirty and go super low. But I said this and I will say this again. Wait till next season because it will be her turn because Angela is not looking good for you. Kelly, I don't. Kelly is annoying, but I like her for the show. It's weird. I like her for the show. It's weird, but she's annoying. Um, K Michelle, I did get where she was coming from, but I still also feel like you shouldn't have went so far into what happened between you and Shamia because you're talking about her mother and you wouldn't want that done to you. I
Oh.
feel like there's a place to I do. I feel like there should have been a boundary there if you're open to reconcile. That's all.
Hmm.
But I could see why she does not fool with Shamia because don't keep bringing this stuff up to me. But that's all. Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, you, Tyler. Um, I feel like because when they did talk about at the end of the Shamia and K Michelle portion, they were talking about whether they could move forward with each other. And K Michelle's like, I can move forward with her, but I'm just not sure if I can trust her, kind of thing. And Shamia's like, I can move forward with her too. This is them talking to their boss, basically. I can move forward with her too, but I can't move forward with I can't be in a friendship with someone that I feel like they're gonna try and fight me. And then, well, that's K Michelle. I definitely don't think K Michelle and Shamia will be the same. I think they will, if anything, they will play nice for the show. But I can see Shamia, chilling with Rashida. Like, I get what you were talking about, girl. And maybe that's how she felt, regardless, because I'm sure she's heard all the stories from Rashida and Candy and all of them. Okay. All right. Rue's backstage, not Rue from Euphoria.
Hi, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
So I just have a few thoughts, right? I think the first thing is I'm really glad Phaedra called out Pinky because I found that comment very weird. Like, people lost money. It's a serious thing. You don't have to act brave. You can literally just say, look, I'm really hurt about what happened. I wish things could have played out differently. Like, just own it without completely saying it's your fault if that's the thing you're trying to avoid doing, So I'm really glad that that happened. And then I also just was tickled by Andy's comment about the bank accounts to say maybe we should check bank accounts. But true, I really think they should, going forward. And I think just the last thing is that I think Shamia needs to stop with the alliance mindset. I think that's the one thing that holds her back because she can't have an independent thought when all she thinks about is we need to be in teams. So if you disagree with me, you're in an opposing team. So that's the thing for me that really just gets in the way where Shamia is concerned. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right. Thanks, Rue.
Cool. Thanks.
Bye. All right. Let me finish that off. There we go. All right. We have a long line backstage. All right. I appreciate everyone being here. Lovely Day's backstage. Lovely Day. What did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Let's get this. K Michelle and Shamia. First of all, if y'all was gonna work on y'all relationship, K Michelle, you should have never told nobody what Shamia told you, and y'all could have worked on y'all relationship off the show because nobody's seen this conversation that either one of y'all had because we was not there to be privy to it. So y'all could have kept it off the show. Then you got Kelly that's always trying to comfort somebody, husband, houses, or whatever. Girl, you got neither. You got a pretend boyfriend that I think the producers put up there just to show that you had somebody. And then you looking like the Keebler elf. You're going to be living like the Keebler elf inside of a treehouse because you can't afford anything else. Then you got Angela and Shamia. Angela, just let it go. Just let it go. We don't care who Shamia been with. We don't care. We don't care. You got Pinky and Phaedra. People coming for Phaedra, but you got to realize with Angela Stanton wasn't a GM herself. She was around here committing fraud as well. So how you gonna come for me and not come for somebody else? And then another thing with that with Phaedra tried to give Apollo legitimate jobs. He wanted to go out there and do that. So don't blame Phaedra because her husband wanted to be a fool and still get caught and she still lived her life. So leave Phaedra out of it. Even though people call her a fraud or a con or whatsoever, but yet still she never been behind bars. Pinky,
That's
girl,
it.
you
That's it,
think
Lovely Day.
I'm
Your
sorry,
time is up.
thanks, Kempire.
Thanks, Lovely Day. Woo, Lovely Day be reading them down. Okay. TJ's backstage. We're going to bring TJ up next. TJ, what did you want to share about the Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. So, hi everybody. So yeah, I think the reunion was probably like maybe a 6.5. I think like people really dismiss where Angela's coming from. I feel like Angela's the type of people who are like, if you start with me, I'm just gonna go to hell. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm just gonna go to hell. And I can relate to that a little bit. I'm just gonna give it to you as good as I get it, kind of vibe. I am an Aquarius, so I kind of
There you go.
like I just feel like yeah, I just feel like, Kelly should just keep quiet. It's not that her chiming in doesn't work. It's just that sometimes just likes to get in when it doesn't land because nothing of hers is solid. Nothing of hers is sticking right now. Everything of hers is just up in the air. So every time she says something, it's like, ma'am, keep quiet because you're showing your snatch on national television. So you really don't have anything to offer except fake teeth. But yeah, that's all.
I had to show the snatch. Perfect timing. Thanks, TJ. All right. Let's bring up Jill. Jill MD, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, so this is not the views of Kempire, but I just have something that I want to say about the whole Pinky conversation because I think the elephant in the room is that Pinky has a pattern, right? So I don't know if people remember this, but quite recently at Spelman College, she put a slutty vegan on the campus. And the students were complaining that the price was just too high. You're talking about $20 for a vegan burger, right? And they had put her on the campus in place of like a taco stand that was there before. That was way cheaper for the kids. And they reached out and they said, is there something that we can do? Like maybe not have the prices be what the regular prices are because this is a campus. And her attitude towards that was just very dismissive, very combative, like we're seeing on the reunion. And so they got together and they did a petition and they got Slutty Vegan taken off the campus. And her response to that was just out of pocket. Like she just did not respond to the students like somebody that she would work for them. And this is someone who went to school in the AUC. So this is a pattern of behavior for her. Like even her bankruptcy that she filed it without a lawyer. She used an ink pen. She didn't pay the filing fees. And the courts had to put out something, and it's public record, to say, hey, you didn't pay the filing fees. You didn't turn in the forms. Like she just does not know how to take constructive criticism. And I think we're seeing that even with the Drew situation. Oh, I didn't send her the sides, whatever. Like, that's not a good look. Right. So, that's what I have to say about that.
Thanks, Jill, for calling in.
You're welcome. Bye. I love your show.
Thank you. Bye. All right, we're going to get to some more callers. I want to say thank you. Hey, Samara, where have you been? Samira says, if you rewatch, Kelly was side-eyeing Shamia when she was saying, my mom never called you a Jezebel. Oh, now you're going to have me go back, because if you don't pay attention to these small moments, you will miss out. But again, we have to keep in mind we're watching an edited version of the show. And it's not it's not something that the producers wouldn't do in regards to taking something that happened in another moment and splicing it in another moment that wasn't necessarily. I'm not saying that's what's happened here, but I do need to go back and watch that part. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support, guys. You can also support just by liking today's video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17 Reunion Part 2. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share your thoughts. Let us know how you would rate the Part 2, but also how you would rate the season overall. And don't forget, you can also hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right. Hey, Jonathan, what's going on? Let's see. Not Pinky is a scammer. Leah says, oh, Lord. Let me just see. I just like to see some of the comments that are in here before I go to, yes, Holistic RN says, great points by the last caller. Kiara says, makes sense. Sigurd DSC says, yes, caller, give us more. I didn't know about that Spellman situation. I mean, admittedly, Pinky has said that she made some poor choices when it comes to business. But I can also see where Jill is saying she also doesn't show accountability. It's like, it's almost very like Taurus behavior where we're never wrong. And she's a Sagittarius. But I'm just sort of like, in that conversation, it's like she couldn't take any accountability. And I get where Porsha was coming from. I get what all the ladies were saying. Like, can you show some accountability? You're being a little flippant when it comes to bankruptcy. And we've talked about how, well, no, bankruptcy is not necessarily always a bad thing, y'all. And so I get that side of it, but the other side is showing some sort of accountability, some sort of remorse, being vulnerable. And I get it. Growing up Caribbean, growing up Black, you know, you don't want to show that vulnerability. But if you're going to be on reality television, and I think she was a very good addition, you got to next season show that vulnerable side. And you know what it is? What didn't help this season? Remember when she tried to be vulnerable with her husband and basically he discounted it? Remember, we talked about it. We were like, don't allow her to have her feelings. So that I'm surely did not help either. Just saying. All right. Let's bring up Arjun next. Hold on, Arjun. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Quick thing. Do you remember when Dr. Emily Phaedra first joined Mary Madison? She said didn't Dr. Emily said, oh, Phaedra went to higher ups when they brought up season 9 situation? Do you remember that part?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? Is that like a pattern with Phaedra, like she goes to higher up?
Well,
no, because that got me thinking, like, does she have a really strong connection with the higher up? Like, it seems to be a pattern, like, she goes to higher ups because there's no way nobody brings up the season 9 situation at all. Also, the whole bankruptcy thing, I don't understand it at all. Like, this season got me messed up. I'm not gonna lie, I lost brain cells watching the season. Because I don't understand the whole bankruptcy thing. Do investors get the money back from banks? Or no? That's what I want to ask.
Do who?
The investors.
No.
And the employees as well. They don't get the money back.
Well, the employees could get their money.
Okay.
You know, in regards to lost wages, but they have to sue.
Oh, okay. That's what I want. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Arjun. All right. Let's bring up Excommunicado. Excommunicado, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta? Excommunicado, you're muted. There we go.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Kempire.
Hey.
So first of all, Shamia needs to go work on whatever memory issues she have because her recollection and retelling of stories is always funny. Michelle, I've seen a pattern with her that when someone is trying to explain himself and actually show the truth about your hand, Michelle tries to bulldoze the conversation and overtalk you to actually and deflect it to prevent you from actually telling the truth. She did that with Drew last week when Drew was about to reveal about the deal she had with the black accuser. And then she did the same thing with Shamia when Shamia was actually trying to explain what happened. And then she deflected to the whole Jezebel thing. So Michelle has that thing. And I said it previously that she and Angela are going to be kind of very similar personalities going forward. Angela, I don't know what it is. You are a good housewife. So it seems like, okay, she's making up for the fact that she doesn't have real personal stories with the unnecessary beefs, because it sounds really mean-spirited to me. The way you are saying, oh, you're about to lose your restaurant, the one that Drew didn't go to, that doesn't really look good. And then she was also saying, oh, why is she keeping that job, free that job up? So if she doesn't have a job and then she's not doing anything, you say she's laying on her back to get on her feet, or she's working and you're asking her to actually leave the job. Which one is it? And as for Pinky this season, I think Pinky was actually the best addition for me this season, and she was my favorite part of the season. She had a full-rounded story and could actually get into the business, address things, beef with people, and then move on. But I can understand where people actually misconstrue her points, but I hate the fact that people always go to the fact that, oh, she's aggressive. I see that a lot in the comments, and she's just someone who is very direct. She speaks very succinctly, and a lot of the time she's talking, she's not screaming, she's not making any hand movements, she's not getting in your face, but then people want to tag her aggressive, and it really bugs me how that is. But that's, and Shamia needs to stop looking for real friends on this show. I feel like that is a thing. That's why she's asking for loyalty. She's trying to make friends here and there when everyone takes this show as just work. And she's looking for real friends, and then they flip it up as, oh, she's trying to find an alliance or something, which is something that they actually or do. They all want loyalty from their friends on the show. So it's nothing new. But she needs to be so desperate in looking for friendship. And I would say the one good thing that came out of the show for her, she probably can see herself and see, oh, she's learned that she's a people pleaser and probably go into therapy to try to work that out. If that makes her a better reality star, I don't know. Personally, Porsha is one who is willing to throw out anything. She's been a liar and a confirmed liar, because none of the receipts, none of the accusations she's actually brought up from last year's Drew allegation and Dennis allegation to the one with Kelly now, nothing has actually stuck with actual receipts. So she just flippantly throws out things, and Shamia and the other ladies who actually have something to lose should be very careful playing around such a person.
All right. Thanks, Excommunicado, for calling in.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too. All right. Don't be rude in the chat, y'all. Taurus Singh says, not Taurus Singh, love it. Says, Phaedra is a licensed attorney, and it sounds like Pinky threatened her with a weapon. Call the higher ups. Do folks want her to physically fight? Definitely not. Again, we don't know the full story. It does sound like something involved a pow pow pow, and Phaedra felt like that Pinky was threatening, but Pinky denies it. She denies that it ever happened. Look, this is why I say, there can be people that you don't always believe everything that they say because they have a pattern of lying. I don't think Phaedra was lying here. What do you guys think? I don't think Phaedra was lying. I definitely think Pinky may have said something that constituted that. And I'm actually surprised she didn't take it further, like to the people in New York or to the people, to Andy Cohen. So, and maybe she didn't want Pinky to necessarily lose her job, but she wanted someone to speak with her. Maybe. I don't know. Purple Yellow says Phaedra is a known liar. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. I'm giving grace to everyone involved, but they seem like they were able to move on beyond that. Also, the fact that Phaedra brought that up, when did this happen? Because she said it happened before it started filming, and they literally last season had an incident with Britt Eady about a pow 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 and whips and chains and things like that. So maybe that's why Phaedra brought it to production before it even made it to New York. I don't know. T says, I 1000% believe that Pinky threatened Phaedra with some type of violence. But why? Like, I need to know more about like what constant, not to say that it ever constitutes, I just kind of want to know, like, what were you guys talking about? Like, how did it even get to that? I'm like, oh, I'm walking around with a pow, pow, pow. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. All right. Annie's backstage. We're going to bring Annie up as our last caller. Annie, what did you want to share about the Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, Kempire. I love your new place. I really don't have anything to say about the Housewives. I just want to thank you for giving us amazing content each and every time that you come online.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Annie. You saw what Sincerely said? No, I'm playing.
We're Tauruses. We don't care what anybody think about us.
You're right. You're right. Because once we get off of here, I'm not going to be thinking about that at all.
Right. You're not going to remember her name tomorrow, so who cares what she think?
Oh. Thank you so much, Annie. I appreciate the love.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Bye. That's a great way to end today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But we're almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 58 minutes and 40-something seconds. So let's go to the 3-hour mark. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat, guys. Or give me your last-minute questions before we go. We only have one more episode to recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I do have a live show coming. Did you guys know that? I have a live show coming on September 25th here in New York City. If you haven't gotten your tickets already, scan the QR code. Hold on, let me show it to you. The QR code on your screen. Scan the QR code or head on over to KempireAfterDarkLive.com/NYC. Get your tickets today. I look forward to meeting all of you in person on September 25th. It's going to be a fun show. It's my last show of 2026. And who knows? My last show of life. Who knows? You just never know. I'm just saying you never know. Okay, so let's all come together and don't be afraid to come on your own. So many people say they're so frightened to come on their own. No, this is the best show to come on your own because so many people do come on their own. And some people have actually made friends from coming on their own. And there's a live stream option. So don't forget that. So even if you can't come, if you're watching from around the world, this is your opportunity. Like Pretty Brown Eye says, when are you coming to London? Well, I've been to London twice. We had a meetup in London, which honestly was the spark that started the Kempire After Dark live tour. I had my meetup in London, and then I had a live show in London. And I did try to do another live show last year in London, but again, doing these shows, it's not as easy as y'all think. But you know what? I will tell you this. I will try and do London again next year. How about that? I will definitely try. Let me reach out to some contacts and I will try and do London for next year. I had a great time in London. I would love to do London again. Remember Grace Report opened up for me, right? The aunties opened up for me, a local podcast group over there. All right. We even had Layla Lynn streaming. Okay. We had a good time in London. All right. Cynthia's backstage. Cynthia, what you gotta say? Cynthia.
Hi, Kempire. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
You know what? Shamia needs to take lessons from me. I would have fought Porsha. Porsha was so triggering, Kempire. When she put her hand up. Yeah, because Shamia wouldn't stand up for herself. Like, are you serious? Shamia, you should have said, yeah, my mama said you're a Jezebel and you're a Jezebel.
Oh, you're right, though. She should just stood on it, right?
Yes, stand on it. That's my problem with Shamia. If you say something, stand on it. Yeah, my mama said you a Jezebel and you a Jezebel. Come on now. Oh, Kempire, quickly. Did you see the preview for next week with Cynthia versus Shamia?
No.
Oh my God. Pull it up. I don't like Cynthia no more. My namesake.
Not your namesake.
She's definitely a spicy Pisces. There we go with those flip-floppers. I'm not seeing it. Oh, Kempire, it's like a flashback of when it was her versus Phaedra. Like she was snappy towards Shamia. Yes.
Really?
You need to. It's on X.
Oh, let me see. Hold on.
It's on X.
Let me see if I can find it. Did Bravo post it? I'm assuming.
No, Bravo didn't post it. If someone commented, oh, you know what? Let me see.
I'd like to play before we call out the rest of this live. I mean, I'll be live again probably tomorrow.
Because I commented on that post too. I was Who posted it? Okay, here it is. It's the ROHA talk.
Oh yeah. I follow them. Hold on, let me go to their page. So here's Cynthia bringing the drama over here. Hold on. Let's see. Sidebar. I do want to talk about. But Cynthia, first of all, thank you for calling in. I'm going to drop you down.
Sure. Okay. No problem.
Thank you. Let me just mention something because Lauren, Porsha's sister, chimed in on social media about what's been playing out on the show. And this is what she said on Threads. She says, please stop telling me to watch the reunion. Do you get a kick out of watching people yell at your siblings and then having to be cool with them when they make up? If I watched Housewives, I wouldn't be able to film because if somebody said something mean about my sister, there's no way I could walk into a scene and be cool with them. She might be over it. That doesn't mean I am. And I need my checks. So see you next season, boo. Go ahead, Lauren. I mean, I get it. And that's what makes Porsha a good housewife. She is able to just kind of move on beyond, you know, and mind you, in her head, she probably will never see it for that person again, but she is able to sort of be like, let me just breeze over this. But not everyone's able to do that. And that's what Lauren is saying here. I'm not going to be able to do that. And that's why I can't watch this show. All right, let me see if I can find what Cynthia was saying. She said it was Kelly and Porsha get into it about married men. No, not that one. Cynthia, which one is this it? No, this is, hold on. I shouldn't have let her go. It must be one of the clips where Cynthia is arguing. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. All right. Because I don't know which clip it is. Is Cynthia still backstage? No, she's not. It's all right. I'll talk about it tomorrow because I need to, there's a bunch of clips coming out for part 3 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Again, what do you guys think of part 1 versus part 2? Part 2 is definitely better in my book, but that's my opinion. What did you guys think about the season? Okay. Let me see. Shamia, hold on. Shamia has dragged the room situation, so Cynthia may be justified. I mean, I have to wait. That's why I wanted to see it myself, but I'll talk about it in a separate video tomorrow for when we do Tuesday Takeover. There's always so much more after our recaps for RHOA, so stay tuned. All right, stay tuned. All right, thank you to everyone that sent in Super Chats, Venmos, Cash Apps. Those of you that are patronizing our sponsors, we appreciate that support as well. And thank you to our King's Guards, our channel members. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. And more information on Kempire After Dark is available in the description. More information on all our sponsors are in the description. More information on the 5th annual Women's Hygiene Drive is in the description as well, or scan the QR code. I will see you all in the next one. I appreciate you. I got more things I got to do. I have boxes to unpack too, y'all. I still got some more boxes. I'm unloading a life. All right. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all for being here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Replay crew, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all. See you on Patreon. Patreon.com/TheKempire.
Here we go now. Here we go.